All right. Oh, Kevin. I hear your mic in the background. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Weird and Wild, our D&D 5e crazy, wacky Spelljammer homebrew campaign. This is session 55, Shell Game. I'm Jason the DM, who's joining me this wonderful Friday night.
Hey everybody, I am Bailey and I'm playing Glace Allure, the College of Glamour Bard.
Hey everybody, I'm Luke. I'm playing Aesop, Kinku Bloodhunter, Order of the Lichen, and his alter ego Subject 22.
What's up everyone? My name is Kevin. I'm playing Sun Kong, your apeling bionoid monk following the way of the abundant spirit.
What's up? I'm Brian or Slim. I'm playing Rinnkaz, a lizard folk who decided it'd be a good idea to, instead of fighting, shoot guns.
Hey, I'm Kyle. I am playing Lubedo, which is an arcane trickster, an angel from the underworld.
Hi everybody, I'm Nvd. I'm Nick. I play a half-up celestial warlock, and I have the greatest familiar of all time, a pseudo-dragon named Jira.
Thank you, everybody, for introducing yourselves. Kevin, is your mic on by any chance?
Got him backwards, but
Yeah,
Now it is.
Okay.
Could you not hear me just a moment ago?
There was just a lot of echo going on. I didn't know whose it was.
I don't know, I'm muted.
All right, let's see here. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I just wanted to give a quick shout out those of you watching as well as our previous followers from last week. Thank you, Tinkin Ryu. Thank you, Savage Parker, Galvanic Panda, Shank HD TV. I really appreciate you guys following us. A reminder to everybody who watches or follows or ends up subbing, you guys are building up Weirdbit points as you do so, which are our loyalty points. So you should go check that out. You can see the details below on our Twitch page and see how many you have. You can buy cool stuff like extra inspiration for the party members and extra weird bits, which can be turned into cash or help them build rooms on their ship, which is sort of their home base, and it's cool stuff. So check that out. As you see down below, we have our Godly Tavern, which I'm going to post the extension in the chat to, so you guys can control it from your phones if you prefer. Thank you, Streamlabs, for showing me the rules to my own chat room. I really appreciate that. Make sure and follow that. Hey, we had a poll from last week. Someone is... Does everyone else hear the echo, or is it just me?
yeah.
I am hearing the echo.
Okay. I don't know who it is. I need to nail it down though.
I don't know why I'm muted, because I was just asking.
I'm gonna mute myself and you guys talk and see if it's me.
Test. I don't hear anything now. Test.
Okay.
Test. Testing. Oh,
Seems alright.
Cool.
is it gone?
Yeah.
I'm not muted, so...
Okay. Oh, I hear it now.
Okay, so maybe it's me, I guess.
Well, I
Bailey?
can only hear Jason echo. Oh, no, now I can hear me.
There's no echo for me.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I was on mute when you can hear yourself.
Testing. Yeah, it's Bailey.
I was on mute when you did that.
Test.
It's still
Test,
showed up.
test. Test, is it me? No? Yes?
We have to hear somebody talking. I will be talking, and we'll find out who is echoing, because I will relentlessly talk, and we will
Yeah,
hear the echo.
It's I see it coming through Bailey's audio on the Discord.
That's weird.
That
She's
is-
muted right now though, and I still hear the echo.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
gonna
trying to mute myself,
disconnect and
too.
reconnect.
Let's see. I'll do the same thing.
Testing.
Yeah.
Seems fine
Testing.
now. No echo.
Testing. Okay.
Very weird.
Discord.
Can you guys hear me now?
Restart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was weird. It was Discord. It's
Yeah.
not your fault.
Hey, thanks everybody who's still around and watching us. I see Kyle now. I don't see Slim anymore though. So
Time to facepalm. Excellent.
we can anybody else see Slim? Is he here?
I don't see Slim.
Slim is
Oh,
gone.
nope, he's gone. Alright, well, anyways.
And he's back.
Oh no, I can't see Kyle anymore. Oh yes, I can. Okay.
Well, those of you who stuck around,
Thank you.
thank you. We had a edgy poll for the little characters you see at the bottom of the screen for our Golly Tavern last week. It was an edgy poll between angels and demons. Of course, demons won. You can now pick those if you'd like by using your loyalty points. You may see some of my players switching to demons and walking around themselves since they have free reign because they have to put up with actually playing my Dungeons and Dragons game. We ran a poll. Well, that was from the previous 2 weeks. We ran a poll this current week, and it was about animals. And cats and dogs tied. So 1 to 10 cat, 11 to 20 dog. And instead of me rolling, I'll take the first person who rolls and roll 20 to see who ends up winning.
Oh, Kyle!
Got that
Wow.
one out of the way.
Well, cat. Cats.
Fail.
Cats it is. So
Cats for the low roll, Jason? How
Yeah.
dare you?
it was
That
a
sounds
crit.
right.
It was
And
a
of course
crit
you pick
fail.
cats.
So it's cats. Yep. Of course.
Wow.
Hateful.
Yeah. Well, you know me. Let's
Hateful.
see.
So full of hate.
I like the giraffe, Nick.
Jeffrey's here. Hey,
Jeffrey's great.
why don't
Thank
I give those of you who don't have it some inspiration?
Give me a good boy card.
Just because.
Those of you who care and are watching, I added Kyle's new character, his stats on our page, so you can take a look at them.
A beautiful thought.
And if
See,
you guys
Louis
wanna,
got
if you guys wanna trade your cards, you can.
I got giant skin. I think I'm good with it.
I've
Still okay with mine.
Yeah, me too. I got that sweet DC increase.
Sweet. All right.
Yes.
Why don't we? That's it for announcements. In terms of like a new poll for the Golly Tavern thing, there won't be one next week. We're gonna take a little break. We've been running it every week, so we'll take a little break. And there's quite a few characters on there now for you guys to look through and pick out. So we'll still be adding new stuff. We're just gonna kind of slowly stretch it out. There's also a upload limit extension for the actual sort of program itself. So we'll stretch things out a little bit so that we kind of slowly make it towards that cap instead of just smashing it immediately as we kind of grow and get more people in to give them a chance to vote for stuff that they want. So no poll next week, but it'll probably return the week after that. We also still are going to do that giveaway at the end of this month, and it will probably involve something related to a question that is going to be from the actual campaign. That won't be too tough, but it will incentivize people who are watching to answer. And those of you who answer correctly will be picked randomly to win a digital gift card from either Steam or Dungeon Master Guild. So keep an eye on that towards the end of this month. Anyways, that's it. Table addressing and all the announcements for the housekeeping stuff is out of the way. Why don't we roll some die to see who wants to give the recap from last
We lost
week?
Luke.
I'm here.
I'm here.
Oh, I don't see your camera in roll 20. Like not even like your placeholder. That's weird.
Oh, it says my connection to row 20 has been interrupted.
Your connection sounds bad.
Yeah, you sound a little robot-y.
Real choppy.
And Bay, you're on mute.
Oh, I said that was for Luke, and then this one's mine. Okay. So I rolled for Luke, and now it's mine.
What? You did not roll for me.
They're still beating Zakhan.
He
No,
said
I
he
agree
rolled
with that
a
shit.
1 at
Roll
home.
Luke. That way they'll roll under me.
No, you
Do the
fuckers.
teacher thing.
I'm loading back in. Fuck you. Oh man, yeah, my shit is going slow. Sorry everyone. It must be on my end.
Sorry, buddy. So a
California's fine.
little metallic, but everyone sounds like
California's-
that.
California's finally breaking away.
Yeah, that must be it. It's the only explanation.
I know we're next.
Yeah, gotta build her ever. Free the state. Yeah, we're gonna build a river and free the state. We're gonna be our own. We're gonna be our own.
A river of hope. A river of freedom.
Bunch of goddamn globalists. Oh, looks like I'm
listen
giving a
here.
recap.
Florida man only knows about a river, Mountain Dew.
We're gonna have state bird, and it's gonna be the bird. We're gonna have state bug. It's gonna be the mosquito.
Hey, so last week,
Moving down from the hills.
last week we were led to a secret hideout by the cadaver formerly known as Kemo, now inhabited by one of the intellect devourers.
Wait, what?
And what?
No, it's just sorry. Go ahead.
Don't fucking interrupt me. How about that? We came across Carl's new character, Fa, who was following us invisible, and we led her to the hideout with us. She kind of came down while invisible and hid while we chatted with Phrax, who seemed to present us with a pretty shitty, like, kind of ultimatum. Like, we could help him put an intellect devourer inside of a Meister Mind person, or he was just gonna keep Kemo's brain. Also, he worked for a mad Modron thing that wanted to assimilate everyone, and that seems bad. But the good news is we were able to decipher a, like, encode thought spell from him, and it turns out he's trying to stop the, or I guess what little vestiges of, like, free will he has left is actually trying to stop the Modron, which is called Hacks. The Modron's called Hacks, right, Jason? Hex. So, we are concocting a plan to make the hive mind of intellect devourers think that we are doing their bidding, but really, we are going to sabotage the Meister Mind, probably X-22, in order to disrupt Hex's network of intellect devourers. And that's what we're going to do, and it's going to go off without a hitch, and nothing bad is going to happen.
Because everything's gonna be fine. Just like we told Kemo.
Everything will be perfectly fine. Thank you very much, Luke. You find Aesop, you find a weird bit in your pockets.
Ooh, 67.
And I'm just reloading Roll20 real quick here so that I can get the music going. There we go. Let me just switch this to this here. So yes, as you guys, now any of you can explain this. You don't have to do it yourself, Luke, but you guys did just a quick brief overview of what you guys did after a session in the lift, if you wanted to go over that really quickly for those of you who are kind of watching the stream or the VOD stuff. You guys did a little bit of after session testing with the brain in the jar, the intellect devourer. And I'm just trying to remember, what were you guys testing again? What was that about?
I think we wanted to see if we could take it out to show the
we were testing
it was
the glass.
proof that we had one.
Yeah.
You wanted to
that's
see
right.
if we could
Okay.
get out as well.
All right. So yes, you guys had done that. You also were coming up to the point in which the character who was going to take a look at Kui, the arcane intellect technician or person from this Meister Mind committee, was going to have a look at Kui and potentially discern some type of cure for her and the current virus that's infecting her system that you guys found out through Kets. And that was happening soon. In the meantime, you guys sort of took respite in the sort of main lab or area that is in the vicinity of the Meister Minds area that you guys typically go to visit your contact there, who currently is X-22, and had essentially worked to convince him to allow the use of his body. And he had just suggested to you guys, hey, that's fine, but in order for me to get a replacement, I need you guys to convince the committee that this is really something that is going on in terms of the vultures and this rogue Modron that seems to want to assimilate others. So that was the current plan that you guys were trying to come up with. So you are currently in X-22's lab and sort of just awaiting for this member of the committee of the Meister Minds to arrive. We can just jump to that if you want, but if you guys wanted to do anything beforehand, you're welcome to. If you guys wanted to just kind of go over any more plans or anything like that, as you look around, some of you have sort of spent some time to take a breather, take a rest. I believe a short rest. X-22 is still tinkering over in what looks like to be some type of arcane pod, a cyber golem. He is pulling some electrical wires and testing at a glass screen with arcane code running across it. And you know, you guys have gone over this plan with him, so he's sort of just generally allowing you to take some time to get a breather in here. So the ball is in your court.
Well, we definitely want to heal Kui first, because we don't want that brain in a jar to bust out.
Yes.
Because if it does, and it eats the gnome, we're shit out of luck with Kui.
No, yeah, I think that should be our top priority too, fixing Kui. That way, whatever else happens, we at least have Kui.
Yes. Indeed.
Alright, so you guys kind of take a second and just decide to wait out for the individual to arrive. So I'll just move you guys over here off the lift that goes up and down. It is not long before X-22 hears a beeping coming from a glass panel over to the side of the room and hobbles over to take a look at it.
Oh, he says, Quabar, one of the members from the committee, should be arriving any second now. You'll see the lift, he says,
Pointing over, and you watch as the lift that you guys take down to reach this laboratory begins to shift and move now, essentially going to the floor that this individual would be on and bringing him up. It's not long after that the lift returns, shuttling and slowing to a stop, and you see on it a small gnome, well, average sized gnome, but small to most of you, with eccentric looking hair that sports a brighter, almost neon blue. He sports what you would typically discern as Meister Mind attire. Lots of areas for all kinds of tinkering tools, a set of goggles on the top of the head, and a nice pair of work gloves.
Hello, yes, greetings everyone. I am your representative from the committee, Quabar. It's nice to meet every one of you, he says, stepping up.
Hello, Quabar. It's a pleasure. I hope you can fix our wonderful little ship.
Yes, I've heard that there seems to be some issue with the arcane intellect of yours. Is this correct?
Yes, she's blinking in and out.
Very well. This is a special case. Arcane intellects are not a dime a dozen type of entity. I'd be interested to take a look as well as the general interior of your ships. Shall we leave now?
I think that would be wise.
Yes.
A little bit of a forewarning. Our
Yes.
ship is unusual. You may see some things you've never seen before on there.
I have heard some hushed whispers between the committee about your ship being eccentric in its style. I will keep an open mind and hands close to my chest.
I guess that's a word you could use to describe it. Oh, I guess this will be your first time on it as well. Fa, was it?
Yes. Yes, it will.
Be careful.
Hands to yourself.
We might end up at Flavor Town.
Well,
We're not going anywhere.
We're not going there.
Darn.
Not a real place. It does not exist. We're not going there. Let's go save Kui, though.
Yes, as a point of reminder, you guys do have those potential helpers' hands that you could hire at any point that you so chose. In the meantime, though, you follow Quabar heading on to the lift and heading up. As you are traveling up, he makes small conversation with you guys, just in general about what you know about the arcane intellects and your general time here on Neo Gokyo, mentioning that he has a little bit of knowledge that ties him to knowing you guys through your Wyrd and Wyld episodes that he has watched through the programmed illusions that come from the knowledge shards. He heads with you guys as you lead him back over to the landing bay that holds and hosts various spelljammers of all kinds of shapes and makes, and you guys are able to find the large geodesic ship that hovers above the ground in one of the corners of the landing bay docks, although it's not really covered or surrounded by any types of bodies of water, seeing as the large majority of the steel planet is covered in steel and then is artificial. Although the heavy rains do, as you guys probably know, tend to make bodies of water or small lakes outside of the city in the place called the Dark Valley. But in the meantime, you guys head over to your ship. Glace, I believe you have the crystal communicator.
Yes.
Very tired.
You pull it from your belongings and holding it up, everyone places a hand on it. Fa, you notice that everyone seems to be placing a hand on this almost what looks like some type of 20-sided, like fist-sized device. It looks almost like has a off-white color to it and seems to bear no markings other than just the various sides that make up its body. Quabar tilts his head and lifts a very brightly colored blue eyebrow, but then places a hand on it himself.
Oh, what's this one do? Is this like a trans-dimensional locator?
Now we all need to tap our heels together. Ready?
Okay, and so
Okay.
Very well, Quabar says, beginning to tap his heels.
Everybody together now.
Aesop just
Kong looks directly at Aesop. Everybody.
right. Everybody.
do we have to click them at the same time, or like in a sequence? Do we have to make a sound? How's this working?
I activate it.
I'm really actually. What?
As you say this, Father, is a flash of a bright light, and you all find yourselves in the interior of the geodesic ship. I'll move you guys over to that map here.
God, where are we? Who didn't click their heels? Who didn't click their heels?
Luke, you're breaking up. I don't know if anybody else. Luke's
Yeah,
breaking
it
up
sounded a
real
little
bad.
bit robotic.
Real bad.
It's
Man.
it's Discord.
We got enough of it.
It's real bad. I'm sorry.
And also, you stole my joke, so I'm gonna tell it again.
If it
I
happens,
didn't click my heels. Does this happen?
if it happens again, we can try to switch over to another channel. Maybe that'll help.
True.
Yams. I didn't click my heels. Does this happen?
Oh no, what have you done?
Fa, as you peer around, similar to the introduction to the ship to Kemo, you see a brightly lit, somewhat octagonal room with, but not rounded. It's angled walls made up of what look like shaped hexagon patterns. It is relatively well lit by a number of small bulbous lights that surround both the bottom and top of the area here. A lot of the area in this room gives off a purplish glow or tinge to it, and you see what look to be almost translucent seated areas. You also see a strange alien-like looking creature at a panel where you see glowing what looks like arcane symbols following up, as well as a young woman with brightly colored hair, not too different from Quabar's, although probably slightly more lighter in its bluishness. She also seems to have a blue as well as pink eye. She wears a relatively simple black dress, although as you step closer to her, there's almost, similar to the seating arrangement here, there's almost a strange sense of translucency to her form. Oh, hello everyone, Kui says as you arrive.
What's that? Who are you?
Oh, Kui, you're back! This is our ship daughter.
Oh,
I'm Kui. Nice to meet you, she says, extending a hand and then quickly pulling it back.
Oh, Fa-Ray. You can call me Fa.
Nice to meet you, Fa, she says.
Nice to meet you. Are you the arcane intellect?
Yes, that'd be me, she says.
That's Kui.
What?
It's a pleasure to see you up and about again, Kui. Is my voice okay, by the way? Out of character?
Sound good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good to see everybody else. I was told that I was gone for a little while. Is everyone alright?
We are man down, currently.
Oh.
Could be better.
But don't worry about that. We're here to make you better for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
We hope, at least.
Yeah. If we're a Kui down, then things get real bad for us.
We can't survive.
You see her peer around the room and look back to you guys. Kemo.
Kemo.
Oh. Is he okay?
No. He... an intellect devourer is currently inhabiting his body as we speak.
So yes and no.
Yeah,
His
well,
brain is extracted.
how exactly did that happen?
Well, it crawled in through his nose and teleported his brain to that secret hideout you were slinking around.
Oh,
I think she means more like in action, not literal sense.
well,
There was
I
a
mean,
lot of...
It happened so fast, and it was on the ground, I don't even know.
We were ambushed.
Interesting place. Interesting place, you hear Quabar says as he steps over to the steel circular panel, watching the system of translucent illusionary planetary systems shift around.
And don't you go touching anything. Yes.
Hands to the chest, he says, keeping his hands close. But this technology, it's pretty incredible. Did a genius build this? He says, turning to you all.
Oh, was it the arcane man? No, we know how. It was the arcane man and someone else.
Radria, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I see. Arcane certainly have their access to certain plans that I'm sure the genius would have. Of course, seeing as if this other individual wasn't a genius himself, this is a very nice technology. Much better than you would see in any typical spelljammer, of course.
It's something else, isn't it?
There is nothing like it.
it's standing right there.
So, this, Kui, this is the one I'm to take a look at, yes? He says.
Yes, this is her.
It's like a doctor's appointment.
Am I going to the doctor? Kui says, looking around.
Sort of.
It's a house
It's
call.
a house call.
Yes, the name's Quabar. I'm here to inspect you, he says,
As he begins to pull his goggles from the top of his head down over his eyes.
None of this will hurt. I just need to take some basic readings.
He says, pulling out a steel rectangular pad that has some glowing glyphs on it, and begins to run a finger over top of it while holding it up to her and looking over.
This will take just a couple of moments, if you all don't mind. When did this onset happen?
Oh.
Game-wise, when was it? It was like a week ago?
No,
Oh, it's
it was
longer
like
than that.
all the way back when we were on Relica. It's been a little bit, I remember. Somebody
Yeah.
said. Was it Kets? Didn't Kets say that? It was at least a couple weeks ago, back when we were on Relica?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, you guys get a basic idea that it was probably around a month ago in the whereabouts of that range. He types some. You see him not type, but you see him press some glowing glyphs on his pad as he continues sort of just holding it up and running it to her. The last case, do you remember how long the entire process ran?
Well, it was within the past day. And about how many hours was it, Jason? What'd you say?
You guys hear Navigator go, and Kui turns back and says, he says about 13, 14 hours. You watch as Quaybar nods his head as he continues typing in. Do anyone know who constructed this arcane intellect? He says, as he begins to sort of just lightly poke at just random areas of Kui as she sort of lifts her hands up and watches, interested.
Well, as far as we know, the Arcane Man and Radriar.
That's, yeah, I think so,
Right?
right?
Unless, yeah.
Well, at least that's what we assumed. We don't have real confirmation of any of it. Oh, or was it? Yeah, no, it was him. We learned that when we were inside the ship, right?
Oh.
It was him and
I don't remember.
and the old guy. What's the fuck is that? Not Decker? Is it Decker?
No.
What?
It was Donovan.
Diedrich.
Diedrich. Yes. Didn't they create her together? Right? Or am I
I
remembering
thought
that wrong?
Diedrich and Doran were bodyguards or something. Oh my
I'm
goodness.
sorry.
It's so long, I can't remember anything.
I'm trying.
See, for our characters, it's been a couple weeks. For us, it's been like 6 months.
I remember there was, we saw a room full of faces, and Kui was in the middle, and did we see her go from an hour, did we see
You
that?
mention a room as if it's a place you've never been before. How many rooms is on this ship?
That's a good question.
Good question.
Rooms can be built.
There seems to be a near infinite amount of rooms. They're just rooms. They just are.
They kind of apparate.
They're everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
We don't have access to all of it. Not everything. And some of
Not
them
yet.
do have to be constructed.
There's
or
a
maybe were constructed in the past and just we don't have access now.
there's another AI that's present on the ship that's kind of delving down to see the how far down this rabbit hole goes, so to
Cat.
speak.
Trying at least. Kets. We could call Kets up, couldn't we, if we needed him?
Oh, shouldn't we at least mention that somebody's going to be digging around in the guts of the ship?
Probably should let Kets know.
Yeah. Wouldn't want him to get defensive.
Yeah, and he'd be able to help us with questions too, because obviously he's in the ship.
Oh, despite my intense curiosity surrounding all of these things, I don't plan on delving deep into the ship. My focus would be the arcane intellect here.
That should work.
It's very interesting. The technologies that surround this ship, as the rumors that were abound through the committee, are true. This arcane, as well as this Radar fellow, the technology that exists here is unlike anything we or the genius have even thought would be. This includes this one here, he says, pointing at Kui. We are familiar with arcane intellects, but this one is on a technical level that I have yet to see achieved.
She is quite impressive.
What does that mean, though?
I have located the... Well, in layman's terms, he says, sort of lowering his head looking at some of you. She is infected with a virus, yes.
Seems that.
I thought we got rid of that.
It was another arcane intellect thing, and we thought we destroyed it, but
We destroyed it. We thought we got rid of it from within the ship, but I guess not.
It is possible that you were able to destroy the largest portion of the apparition itself. However, some of the arcane intellect's code, as it were, the written language in the weave itself still persists and has attached itself to this entity, Kui.
How did Cregan make that one? Did he make that?
No, right?
How did he get it? Maybe if we find out how he did it, we can... I don't know.
I forgot that. Yeah, Cregan put that on our ship, right? No, yeah?
Back in the first season, it was Cregan who put it on the ship, but you guys would remember that he had mentioned it was a augmented creature that Hax, not Hex, was able to work up.
Oh, Hax did it. Or Hax did it.
Hax,
Yes.
not Hax.
Hax was his assistant who was very well versed in the higher level technologies, like a lot of the things you guys see on Neo Gokyo.
Well,
I completely... Why are we friends with him? I completely forgot he did that to Kui. Anyway, can you fix her?
Well, as you all seem to have surmised, yes, I'm able to detect the presence of the, let's say, combative arcane intellect's code within her system that is multiplying itself at a rapid rate, and it does appear as though the, let's just say, full conversion rate will be at a complete level within, again, this is estimated time of anywhere from 2.5 to 3 months, if the rate was to continue unhalted.
Oh.
But you can halt it, right?
Of course he can. Of course he can.
Well, you see, we have created various myriad amounts of arcane intellects in the past. We were not ill-equipped for issues like this, and have done extensive studies. Though typically when we saw things of this nature, the infected, let's say, arcane intellect was disposed of.
Oh,
well, that's not an option.
Any malicious code was gotten rid of, but of course I understand, you being those outside of the realm of the Meister Minds study, may have a particular attachment to this one, and would like to keep what is essentially her, which is her code, but her form and her presence, who she is, intact. Correct?
absolutely.
Yes.
Well, it's not outside of our purview to take arcane intellects. They require some type of form that could either be the transitory, ethereal form that you see here, not unlike a ghost or a wraith, and even sometimes we have been working and developing the technology of putting the arcane intellects inside of a construct body. It's our latest achievement with the cyber golems.
Oh.
However, this particular arcane intellect is on a technological level, as I mentioned, I've unseen before. To put her in a construct body would not stop the accelerated virus from continuing to convert what is
Oh
left
my
of her.
goodness.
What you would essentially need is a real body to transition her form from, something of biological mass and form.
You guys don't grow that kind of stuff? I'm surprised.
The Meister Minds study largely entails the expansion of biology, transitioning to, well, construct form and not vice versa.
That's interesting, but I don't see how that helps us. It's not like we can just walk down the street and find a suitable empty corpse for her to inhabit.
It is twofold. One, it must have a very similar makeup to her current form for the code to accept.
Okay, so not Kemo.
The second issue he takes a deep breath and looks down, flicking through his pad. Let me just make sure. He flicks through. The second issue, and this stays within this room, is I don't believe this is an operation that the Meister Minds can do.
Oh no!
But if not you, then who?
Yeah.
We are certainly growing more and more adept in transitioning arcane intellects into construct form. That by itself is a Herculean task in its own right. Taking someone as complex as this one's arcane code and putting into a flesh and blood and bone body. Certainly we could do it in the future, no doubt about that. We would find a cure, a way to transition her body so that she would be cured of this pest, but it wouldn't be something that we could accomplish within the time frame that you're looking to achieve.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I broke up too. Sorry, Jason.
That's okay.
I don't know what happened. I lost you.
Discord deafened and muted me automatically. I don't know if that happened to you guys.
Yeah, I just lost everybody for a second.
Do you guys want to jump in the other chat that's on here?
Yeah.
Alright, let's do that.
Hello?
Test.
I can hear you guys.
I can hear you guys.
Testing.
So far.
Luke is dead.
Luke got lost.
Luke is dead.
I play Mercer.
There's Luke.
Sabotage.
He lives. We all sound okay, I think.
Quaybar turns and says, this is something I'm sure. You see, the process of moving a arcane intellect to a construct body is already a Herculean task, no doubt. Something we are just on the verge of learning more about as we create our mass of cyber golem to patrol the city and have that arcane intellect learn and grow. But moving something as complex as the entity before us, its arcane intellect, the code is unlike I've never seen before. Not only taking that form and transitioning it to another body, especially one of actual flesh and blood, it is a task that the Meister Minds could do, I'm sure, at a future point, but not within the time frame you desire.
Oh dear.
What do? We have to do something. We have to find somebody. We can't let this happen. We have to heal her.
I am unfamiliar with a possible current outcome that would be logical for us to achieve.
What about illogical?
Well,
We've made the impossible happen before.
you are all wild knots in your own right. I assume that you carry some fair amount of coin in your pockets.
Uh-huh. What are you asking?
Outside of the vast and incredible technologies that we, the Meister Minds, are able to brew up, there may be private citizens, members of Halcyon, the wealthy elite, who may have access to secrets or arcane artifacts or some ways of certain magics to help you, but this is just a very hard guess and is not backed up by any actual evidential material. Outside of that, we are the best that you've come to. I wouldn't know anyone else to turn to other than us.
No. I'm looking for a golden needle in a haystack.
We're going to find one.
Well, at least we have connection on Halcyon. Lushy.
I suppose. Still a little worrying, though.
But yeah, I mean, I don't like this outcome, definitely, but I mean, we have to check with Lushy. What else can we do?
Don't worry, Kui. We're going to figure
We're
something
going to,
out.
yeah, we're going to figure something out. This is the next lead.
How does Kui look?
She has a bit of a worried and slightly sad look on her face, but she says, well, I appreciate you guys trying. Maybe there's an answer out there somewhere.
There is, and we're gonna find it, and you're gonna be walking around in a body, and we are going to heal you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I'm gonna figure something out.
The very least, Kui, if the conversion rate does take place, it won't be a painful process. Though you all may want to consider eliminating the new form achieved by this entity once it has taken the 100% completion. Whatever was initially trying to infest her code in the beginning will be fully realized at that point. But until then, it won't be a painful process. Kui looks with a bit of a befuddled, frightened look.
It's alright.
Mr. Claybar, sir.
Yes.
So I'm kind of one of those people who doesn't know what you're talking about, but if Kui's code is degrading, is there a way to kind of put her in stasis or something to make it stop until we can find something that'll work?
I considered that already while running my diagnostics. The issue is that Kui seems to have some key link to your ship. And it is a possibility that you may find some way to put her in some form of stasis. And I don't know the full complexities of this, but in doing so, you would effectively be shutting down your way of transportation.
Can we somehow partition off the parts that are infected?
This is a possibility, but in doing so, you would need to find someone willing to do so, which we could give a crack at, he says, cracking his knuckles. However, the complexity of our code basically means that we don't know how much we would be shaving off that was not infected pieces.
Well,
I don't like that. I don't trust it at all.
we still have months, right? Before worse comes to
3
worse.
months, right? About, you said?
Roughly estimated.
There's still time then.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Gotta figure it out. I mean, we kind of have to.
This arcane man, this Radriar, do you have access to these people? Perhaps they would have more knowledge.
There's that one in the deep, deep down of our ship.
I mean,
A deep, excuse me, one of them?
Yes, there's many. I think no, that he wasn't the one. He's just a copy of him. He's not. He's kind of
Not
like
actually him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's another arcane intellect, and he's a copy of Radriar, and I don't know how we can get a hold of him. Actually, I don't know if that's a thing that we can do. But he's there.
it's something, I guess. I don't know. I think our best bet is to just follow the next lead once we're finished here.
The arcane man is dead, by the way. Can we just get another arcane man? Do they? Is this something they do? Are they smart? Like you, genius?
Well, no one is as smart as the genius, and
Or like you
I am not one myself, but I am part of the committee, and would say that my intelligence ranks very close to theirs. But The arcane do not share their propensity for ingenuity and intellect as we do. However, they do have access to various plans and information that no other merchant, well, in the multiverse, as far as I'm aware, can get access to.
Oh.
That's something.
So they can possibly help us.
Or, at the very least, to provide a better detailed information on where to take the next step.
How do we contact them?
I was gonna say, where are they? Have we ever run into other radio?
Yeah, the helper. Wait, what?
There was
Helpers?
one at the helper's hand, yes.
They are a rare and unique breed, the arcane. They are difficult to come by, but when needed, sometimes they do appear. I would say that while you are cruising about the Twixt, keep your eyes out. You may run into them. Alternatively, I've heard that there are increased numbers and percentages of the population of them on Halcyon itself, speaking of. This would be the place for their mercantile skills to come and use.
Okay.
Well, sounds like another trip to Halcyon is in order.
There may be alternatives, but that is the best educated guess I could give you when it comes to something that is higher than what the Meister Minds can achieve currently.
This is quite a pickle.
Would
Breaking
you
out the quest log, replacing, writing down some goals.
Would you be willing to come with us in order to learn more for yourself and also about this arcane intellect, Kui?
You could study the ship.
Yeah, in hopes, that maybe you and whoever we can get if we find a arcane man could work together or something. We'll pay you. We don't want to lose Kui.
Your representative could be someone who is taken with you.
He could be. He's got a bomb in his chest. I don't really like that. That's not very comfortable.
We're trying to save our ship.
Mm-hmm.
He seems kind of...
May I ask why this representative told you about this?
About what?
The bomb?
Yes.
Oh, we were asking.
Yeah, I ask questions, sir. I'm sorry. I just get curious sometimes. I mean, sometimes I forget I'm not a student anymore. I just ask questions.
Has he filled you in on our plan yet in regards to the syndicate?
No.
Okay, well, that's interesting. So
there's some things going on behind my back that I'm unaware of. Please enlighten me.
I don't think behind your back is the way to put it. You're in fact going to be part of an important experiment we were conducting.
The syndicate, the crime rate numbers have been dropping dramatically. We had assumed that they began dissolving.
Oh,
They're all brainwashed or brain taken.
They're lying low.
Parts of them dissolved, yes.
But they're becoming something else.
I fill him in roughly. I basically just tell him the whole plan with X-22 and why the fact that X-22 has a final word came up because we talked about using X-22's body as bait basically to conduct this experiment with the silver blood, yada yada yada. I tell him the whole thing.
He taps his chin. So, I do not need you to remind me of the entire surrounding events of this affair. However, as part of the committee members of the Meister Minds, I would like for you to just simply lay out a clear plan that you have in mind for this newly christened syndicate.
Well,
Right?
So I mean, assuming you believe us, that actually That actually cuts down quite a bit on
Well,
what we have to do.
You have been a boon to us before. Taken at your word, this could be an issue. And your representative is, let's say, expendable.
Oh!
Although, it is certainly within the purview, provided that you are telling the truth, that we could come up with some separate form. This would also eliminate the safety risk that he tends to pose to
Perfect. Well,
the labs.
This saves us a lot of work then. We had this whole ruse where we had to convince the hive mind that my bag of holding had been stolen. Oh, it's in here, by the way, and I point to the bag of holding.
He pulls back just a little bit.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. The idea is we are going to have X-22 cornered, and unbeknownst to the hive mind, he is volunteering. We simply allow the intellective hour to implant itself into his brain, and then our inside man will take care of the rest with a infected string of silver blood, which should disrupt the hive mind with enough time for us to retrieve X-22's mind along with our past friend and escape, hopefully causing some damage to the syndicate along the way.
This Phrax, do you take him at his word that he intends to double-cross this rogue Modron he currently serves?
I see no reason that he wouldn't be speaking the truth. He went to such great lengths to relay a secret message to me when he already had us bent over a barrel, so to speak, and we were already going to comply. I don't see any reason he would put himself in additional danger to give us a fake message and trick us.
Self-preservation.
Indeed.
An alien trait to most of us here in the Meister Minds, but I suppose not one for those who have currently gone rogue. Let's see. Provided that this is able to work, you use this intellective hour to take over the shell or form of X-22.
Indeed.
His mind transferred to a similar jar held within this area that Phrax and this hex is located.
Indeed.
You say something about needing his body itself, this silver blood, which is a typical component of most jeen-yuss. They have replaced all of their blood throughout the centuries with a synthetic breed.
Indeed.
But this seems to be a special solution of it that would cause some confusion with this hex, giving you time to escape.
With the brains! And causing as much damage as we can along the way, of course.
Your plan, then, to convince this hex that it is necessary to assimilate the body of X-22.
Well, I presumed that he already wanted to. It already wanted to. It was a direct missive from this creature to have Phrax tell us to assimilate a member of the Meister Minds.
You guys would remember that Phrax initially mentioned that the brain of the Meister Mind he would assimilate so that he would have the knowledge of the individual, but he would leave the intellect devour who had taken over the body within the Meister Minds to serve as a spy.
Well, I mean...
Phrax, when he gave you that special solution of silver blood, mentioned that you would have to come up with some type of ploy to convince the Rogue Modron Hex the reason why you would need to return with the body for him to consume that as well.
Okay, that complicates things.
Oh my goodness.
He didn't give us silver blood though. He has it, I presume.
Okay, yeah, so yes, he has it, yes.
Yeah. Oh jeez. Alright.
Gosh.
How do we convince the creature to absorb the body? And I presume it may even know that silver blood would be bad for it.
We don't have to tell him there's silver blood in the body, right?
All genius possess silver blood. I assume the Phrax would probably have some type of ploy in which to infuse the blood within the circulatory system of X-22 once he's been taken over.
Guys, wouldn't the whole reason to want to control a body with a gigantic destructive bomb inside of it be enough?
That's a pretty good point.
It could also be the possibility that even though the body has been taken over by intellect devour, because of the foreign nature of the final word implantation within, it may not be able to recognize that it is a walking bomb.
Yes, we can use that. That he's technically a prototype, so there's no really guarantee that it just won't go off.
The entire reason that we've been making sure that he serves as a representative to Wyld, not such as yourself, instead of down in the more priority labs.
We're not just.
It's simply risk reduction.
Meister Minds are the worst.
Well, if you're okay with that sacrifice, maybe we implant him with some other technology. A red herring of sorts. Some technology of yours that you know that they want to get their hands on. Then they want to keep the body, then they don't know about the bomb. Boom, right when we need it.
Ooh.
It's a good idea, but what could we possibly put in there that would be desirable to a creature like?
I'd say that's probably up to the Meister Mind.
Well, from the sounds of it, it appears as though this hex is able to assimilate both construct or organic matter. He may be a fusion of the two, if he is in fact infected by this andeloid. So, if we were able to use a construct graph on X-22, build something that may be visually appealing, then the want or need to assimilate it into Hex's form itself rather than serving as a spy within the Meister Minds may be more digestible to the Rogue Modron. A possibility.
What about all those security robots that are everywhere? Maybe
the cyber golems?
Maybe say a camera that has access to their network or something. Maybe, could be linked to them.
We are talking about a lie here, of course, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
A convincing one, hopefully.
Certainly, but that would be on the part of yourselves, us Meister Minds. As you may have called out, Glasse, we are not exactly the most hospitable, and we tend to tell the truth.
I'm sure some of us.
Faw's face turns into the same face as the gnome, and she repeats the words back to him in exactly his voice.
Oh, well, we have a nice little liar here.
Looks like you don't have to be there to be there.
Interesting, some type of imitation magic, and I had no plans of being there. So, I suppose it is possible that if you were to get some construct device implanted or constructed around the visual aspect, or at least the general head area of X-22, it is possible that it could serve as a ploy to convince this hex to assimilate it.
Maybe like a... shit, I don't know.
What if we pick up another knowledge shard, or try to find a knowledge shard and throw it in there to try to convince him that that somehow has something to do with, I don't know, the whole lens thing.
I suppose that could work.
Just to be clear here, the initial outset of this was that Hex would consume this X-22 shell with the
afflicted blood and would cause a short circuit, as it were, allowing you to escape. However, if we are talking about X-22 specifically, at some point upon simulation, well, the body, despite being assimilated or not, would, under every pretense of the construct of the final word, enact itself. Instead of talking about a short circuit, we are talking about a very large explosion happening.
I think that's a favorable outcome, personally, provided we're not in the blast radius.
Either way, it is a certain boon to the Meister Minds if you are able to rid what seems like a new and growing existence of some type of organization growing in the underbelly of Neo Gokyo.
Indeed. We are more than happy to rid it for you.
That would be extremely acceptable, and could even bring with it some type of monetary reward should you pull this off. Provided this is all true, of course.
Oh, trust us. It's true.
So, okay. Do you guys think we're going to be close to this Hex when he tries to take over the body? I mean, we're going to have to talk to him and everything.
I mean, why would it even want to see us?
Probably.
Why would it risk bringing us into vision with it?
I mean, it's smart. It probably has set something up.
I suppose.
It put us in this position easily.
And there may be a particular percentage of statistical outcome where you would need to speak with it face to face to convince it that it will need to assimilate X-22's body. This may not be the case, but I would plan for such a interaction.
If we need to do that, I always have my dimension door, and if somebody who's really good at lying would like to, I can fit too.
Well, that's good. It seems like Fa would be a good choice, or I can't disguise myself, but I can certainly sound convincing like someone else.
Just keep in mind that what we are talking about here is the final word that we have constructed. Despite being a prototype, it will still ensure that you are all very well good and dead if you're near the proximity of it.
What's the proximity of it again?
Let's see, he says, as God looks it up. He would know this, though, because he has extensive knowledge of this type of stuff.
Because if it's more than 120 feet, my dimension door isn't going to be so helpful.
It's more than 120.
Oh, no!
180 feet.
Oh!
He says himself.
Shit.
Ooh, I don't like that. Guys, we need a good plan, because if we can't get anyone caught up in this blast.
What's the power drop off at what is that, 2/3 of the way out?
What a
60 feet is non-mitigatable. That's a word.
Well, that's good. So it's mitigatable if you teleport out, I guess. Jason, so
failed save though is 1d4 times 100.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
Let us just say that the Meister Minds excel at whatever they put their minds to.
So,
You guys have any, there's I hate saying this, but teleporting thing? I'm sorry, I just got sick. Teleport spells that maybe we can use and
There's
teleport.
always a potential that you could find some in the market district.
Now, how long does it take to just... They're not instant, though, right? They're not...
some spells are.
Yes, it would depend and vary between the activation of the spell itself.
Okay, Jason, Phrax is specifically saying he has a strain of silver blood that he wants to use, or that any silver blood will work to disrupt the
He has a particular concoction that he is assumingly going to inject in X-22 when you bring him, such that when you convince Hex to assimilate him, whatever is within that blood will cause a reaction in Hex that will not only throw him off, but potentially scatter down the line with all of the sort of hive mind bodies that is connected to him.
Okay, I was gonna say we can just find a body and like Aesop can like get some silver blood and inject it into it, but it doesn't sound like that's gonna work. So we definitely need X-22, and we just need a way to convince Hex to assimilate with it, and we also need to not be nearby when it happens.
We need a way out, is what we need. Because I'm pretty sure he will want to talk to us.
It's arranging your little trans-dimension locator thing.
We can't do it indoors, right?
The ship transporter thing?
20 feet, I think?
Yeah, it's...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have to be like right under the ship.
And we have to take all that time to clap our heels together, so I don't know if that's gonna work.
Very
fair
important.
Enough.
Yes,
very dexterous task to try and do under pressure, right? Yeah, fair enough.
Yes, that would be a bad probability that things would fail, certainly.
Oh my god.
I couldn't tap my feet last time, and...
Well,
you're lucky we didn't get teleported into a lava or something.
Inside check. Insight
check?
Yeah.
Should I roll a deception
Match
check?
it. Counter check.
Deception.
Okay,
Counter check.
Do it.
Plus 8. Oh. It'd be a 13.
Plus 8. Wow.
Wow, okay, so that's gonna be 23.
Oh, fuck. Oh, okay. Well, I mean...
Fucking amazing.
God damn it. Why'd you do math? You outrolled me.
There is always the possibility that the teleportation magic can have its haywire.
Oh, good. I love that you mentioned that. Alright. Gosh. This really...
no, never mind. No, wait. Oh, go ahead, MVD.
What if you put a teleportation device in X-22 and we exchange the teleporting body for what we needed, and we'll deliver it to where they want it, and then we don't have to worry about being near it?
Yes.
It's an interesting idea.
I played a lot of games in college.
Well, they did that to us anyway. They just teleported us into water once. That was fine.
Well, yes, but this was a particular area that allowed for teleportation through our facilities. This was built in. This was not a mobile teleportation device.
Oh,
Damn it. Gosh, this is tough. Like, thinking of a solution to this. This is quite a pickle we're in here.
If only we had somebody who could teleport like 60 feet.
Well, I could always activate it again if I had time and we can get up there.
It's quite a risk.
That seems dubious at best.
True.
And deadly at worst.
But I'm glad you did.
What about, like, concentrating the explosion radius? Or any way you could change his device to maybe concentrate or reduce the blast?
Yeah, if you magnified the yield, it's got to take down the radius by a significant sum. Exponentially, I would guess.
Just be aware that this is X-22's form we're talking about. You should count yourselves lucky that he hasn't gone off yet.
Don't say
Jesus,
that.
thanks.
He carries with him plenty of augmentations, but most of them are outdated, and he refuses to get them upgraded.
What is wrong with him?
And my god. I don't mean to be a stick in the mud I know I'm being a little greedy about this, but I would also like it if Phrax wasn't in the blast radius. He has the cure I need. I know, we haven't even come up with a solution, and I'm adding additional variables to this.
Could we maybe have an illusion?
Ooh, an illusion. That's a good idea.
It appears as though you have a few tools on your metaphorical belt. For one, it appears, he says, pointing over at Fa, that you have a certain amount of arcane magics up your sleeve with which to provide such ample illusions and the such. Equally, as mentioned by Fa, I believe, you also have access to our constructs graphs that we could procure within X-22's form before this takeover happens. There are certain head graphs that we could put in place. If we're talking about eyes, in terms of making it appear as though he is able to see through the sights of the cyber golems themselves, and infrasight eyes in the general head vicinity may help. Equally, if we were to plate the head and back cortex of his general form with mithril plating, this could also serve as a potential ploy to convince them that you have installed some heavy augmentations within the mind.
I don't understand. Somebody... Okay,
Aesop
I hope
takes
somebody
notes.
got that. Yeah, Aesop, there you go. Great.
Mithril
Translate?
plating, infrasight eyes may be good to convince him.
Okay, thank you. That's all you had to say.
How much are those? I'm sorry, I'm asking as a player.
Infrasight eyes, 450 GP, mithril plating for the head. Both of them are head slots, so you could only choose either or, not both. Mithril plating is 1500.
Yeah.
Let's do the eyes. The eyes could... It would be easier maybe to convince the creature that it is a good creature for spy work and surveillance if it has unusual eyes.
Oh, yes. That's a good idea.
Alright. So, we get the eyes for X-22 bot.
Also keep in mind that once this host form has been taken over by the intellect devourer, you may be needing to convince both it and Hex once you arrive.
Wait, convince them of what?
Well, as far as I can tell from what you've told me, that this X-22 form, once the intellect devourer has it, is wanting to serve as a spy within our ranks. You'll need to convince it in some way to instead follow you back to Hex.
Oh, I see.
And once you are there, then convince Hex that he needs to assimilate X-22's form.
Damn it.
I
damn
mean,
it.
are they charmable? Can we convince them through magic?
You could certainly make a check and see if you can remember.
Nature? Nature?
I'll take any number, an arcane check. I'll take whatever you want, and I'll tell you different things.
I'll aid you on nature. I'm curious if intellective hours can be charmed, personally.
Okay, so my nature altogether is 19.
With all that, because of the, let's just say, uncharismatic nature of the intellect devourers, it doesn't seem as though they have a large fortitude to protect themselves from charm, or the charm-like magic.
You're charming, Gloss. Hey, just tell them that we discovered something special about the host body. We need to report it to its master.
I can do that.
And then we'll just get there and figure out how to escape the explosion. It'll be easy as pie.
Oh. Wait.
What?
We're putting, like, special eyes into it. Could we maybe... Renicast is going to scratch his head a few times. So
He pulls out a grenade, a couple beef jerky packs, some
He
bullets.
scratches his head with his gun.
Me think good idea. So we had a camera, like a recording device. What if we were to place a false image into its mind, record something and put it into the eyes, something that would be interesting enough to help bait it? We could put false information into it to dupe them.
Damn good idea.
It's like one of those, like when you're doing guard duty and someone's trying to sneak in, you put a fake image on the screen so they don't see.
Oh, is that what you do? You guard duty people are so amazing.
I make the shoot happen.
That is a possibility, although you would need to implant it in the correct brain, which would be the intellect devours itself once it has taken over X-22's body. But not impossible. You would just need the arcane means to do so.
I can implant that it really wants to help us.
I mean, that's
Hopefully.
good.
We could even blindfold him ahead of time, so he's a little more subtle.
Or I can just... I have this spell that allows me to dominate people.
Oh my goodness. Oh my...
Just imagine me walking around in X-22's body.
I'm a little worried about domination. Remember, they're a hive mind. If you dominate it, then the hive mind is going to know something's wrong.
Oh.
Whereas if it just reacts favorably to you, like it's charmed or something, maybe it will be less suspicious.
It is a fair point. Keep in mind that convincing this intellect devourer may be as important as convincing Hex himself.
Indeed.
Okay.
Well then, as a committee member, you mentioned something. Were you wanting me to stick around to be around when this intellect devourer takes its host?
Do you want that?
If you believe us, then there's really no reason to unless you're just curious.
That's awfully dangerous, though. What if it decides to take him instead?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's right.
I think it's a bad idea for a lot of reasons.
There we go. All right, fair enough.
Honey, when you're around us, oh my god. Wild nuts. See, I have something wrong with my brain, so... Okay,
Someone did mention that an intellect devourer got you in the previous hours, yes.
It's funny because it's true.
It's dangerous, is all I'm trying to say.
Well, look, all you're asking from me is that we have a potential backup construct body for X-22, which I'm sure we could scrub up, as well as a potential monetary reward, provided this is an actual danger, as well as a issue that we may be facing in the future. If you're able to provide us with evidence that this is the case, then I suppose that we could be privy to it. In terms of you carrying this out, all you're asking for from us is X-22's form, which already carries with it an extremely highly dangerous bomb installed within it, as well as you taking it to a dangerous place, this rogue Modron being there. However, it is in a particularly safe area of town where, should this detonation go off, there would certainly be collateral damage, but is a largely secluded place where most of the equipment has been already offloaded. This is the best outcome. Even if you were to expire in this exchange, we would lose little. This sounds like a agreeable situation from the standpoint that I'm sure the committee would understand.
Great.
So if we prove to you that we've got a brain slug, then you'd give us an advance, wouldn't you?
A possibility, yes.
Do we want to do that still, Fa? Seems like a needless complication.
This could also be backed up provided you are able to actually retrieve the mind of X-22 once you have returned to the facility that it is being held at once the transference of his body has been taken over. He could help to provide factual evidence in the, exactly what panned out. Potentially.
Fair.
Well, we don't know where they're keeping the brains. So maybe
Also
we
a
should
problem.
figure that out before we push too much further.
Yeah, we don't want to blow up all those innocent people.
Yeah. Could be that they're right behind the bomb and we gotta go the other direction, you know?
Yeah.
This is getting very troublesome. I think I'm having a panic attack.
Okay, well, hold on. What if we can convince him to take over the body, and no. What if we can convince... Do we need the body again? Do we need the body?
No.
Okay, so what if...
I would prefer for you to dispose of it.
Right, but hear us out. What if the body goes back, or, what if you guys set something up to dispose of the body? So while it's going back to do its own thing, the spy, you guys set up to trap it and eliminate it. And think of all the knowledge you can get out of scanning him and doing all kinds of things to him before you eliminate it.
I am unsure how this would help you out.
Well, that's one less thing we have to worry about as a thing exploding and destroying everything.
I mean, if this were the case, we would take it under intensive study and have it here ourselves, but you would lose the one chip you have in terms of getting what you want out of this deal that you've set up.
Oh. This is hard. Never mind.
This is... I mean, if everything goes well, everything goes well. If not, we all blow up, along with hundreds, potentially, of innocent brains.
I mean, there is the probability that you engage in some type of combative encounter with this Modron, but it's not something you're alien to. However, I am unsure of the capabilities of this member, having never set eyes on them.
Well, if he's got more brain devour things around him, I don't know if we can take it.
Here's... Alright. The intellect devourer is inside the genius X-22.
Correct.
Perhaps we frame it like we want to bargain with Hex. We found out something about X-22 that makes him even more valuable to Hex than previously indicated, but we're not going to bargain with Phrax. We need to talk to the big man himself.
And this intellect devourer, upon taking the form of X-22, will not have his memories. He is replacing the brain, not assimilating it. He will not know if he has this ploy of this graph or interesting device installed within him.
Yes.
You Meister Minds have eye scanners to get in things, and you need your body parts.
We typically use certain pads that have arcane codes that you must remember to get from facility to facility.
Oh.
Well, I mean, we could just lie. We could just say that there's new eye scanners or something like that. Oh, new eye scanners, of course! And then he has the new eyes.
We are developing new technologies every day, yes.
So, when we become aware of this, Aesop does air quotes, situation with the eye scanners, which of course is complete bullshit, we just feel like he's worth more, and we want to talk.
Yes. A spy has to be able to get into places without being suspicious.
And he has top clearance, and I wink at the gnome.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. A possibility that he would want to assimilate that for himself. Also a possibility that he would much prefer to leave the spy within the general grounds of the Meister Mind facility, keeping himself safe.
I mean, he is he is our bargaining chip. I presume he's valuable to this creature.
It would only... Oh, God.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, so if we get a little rough, I think we have some leverage.
We could always
And we could even say it's the beginning of a upgrade and overhaul for him, that the eyes were just the beginning because of all his tech being out of date. So he's a prime candidate to see all the new tech that they might be putting in him.
And it would only be suspicious if he didn't go to all those places, being that he's already started all of these upgrades.
This is good. This is a good plan up until the part where we still have no way to escape an explosion if required.
And we don't know where Kemo's brain is.
We'll figure it out. Look, it's fine. I'm not even going to try to lie to you, never mind. I was going to say I could smell him, but I don't think even 22 could do that. That's my 22, not X22.
I mean, can you... That detect... Did we get a detect thought spell before?
I mean, we got a scroll.
Okay, so what if... I mean, how much was the scroll? What if we can just detect thought scroll brains? I'm sure we'll be able to talk to them that way, and we can find Kemo.
Would a locate creature spell work?
God, are you listening?
Possibility, yes.
Is Kemo's brain considered a creature?
Well, surely, right? It is the house of the soul.
I don't know, I guess.
That science is still be determined, but provided he is still in a transitory state of consciousness, well, this would be, despite being a very small object, the mind itself, the brain, it is everything that houses Kemo.
I mean, it seems kind of macabre to say detect object would work more than detect creature.
Yes, in terms of the technicalities of the arcane text itself, objects would be more inanimate. I would assume a locate creature spell would have the potential to work.
Well, looks like we have some more shopping to do. We need to do 450 for X22's new eyes, and then shell out a little bit for a spell scroll. The question is, who can do that discreetly when we get to the base?
Can we check out the Helper's Hand? Maybe we have some, maybe we can meet somebody that can just cast it.
Who is at the Helper's Hand we didn't hire? Like Guy Fieri and like one other person?
Oh,
We did hire him.
It was the guy that talked really, really fast.
Oh, could he detect things?
No.
There was none of them had the ability to locate creatures.
You know who could locate creatures?
Is this a trick question?
No. I take a drink and finish the flask, and I bite the side of my cheek, and I mutter a few words really low under my breath. Let Lizzie.
I agree, Rincas.
No.
She's useful.
You're
Remember,
kidding.
she hunts people on their emotions, or
Oh my god, see, this is great!
we can blow up I mean,
No, we're not blowing up Lizzie. She might be our MVP in finding
Oh
Kemo.
my goodness.
She's still part of the team.
What's a Lizzie?
Kinda.
Oh, you'll love her. And Aesop gags under his mouth.
She's a nice girl.
I mean, she's fine. We blow it up. She's fine.
If there's one thing you can say about Lizzie, it's that she is a female probably.
Fa just looks at each one of you in turn with the mouth halfway agape and just, okay.
Oh my god, let's call Lizzie.
Yay! Lizzie to the main room. Lizzie to the main room.
You almost nailed it. Lizzie to the main room.
Guys, I've had a long fucking day.
It's written there. It's
Mission control.
Kui says, I'll go get her. And she disappears for a second.
I know, Billy died.
She reappears. Lizzie says that she requires a good reason for her to get out of the meditation pool.
Oh my! How about she get off her lazy ass and do something for the ship for once?
There's a reward at the end, so tell her.
An endless buffet of emotions.
Oh, that's
You
true.
don't know. Well, yeah, technically, there's a lot of emotions.
I ask nicely.
Oh,
I'll
work.
tell her all of those things.
Oh,
All
yeah.
of them.
And Vidi asks for her personally to say that. I'm sure she'll like that.
She disappears.
Um,
While she does that, Hush comes up and taps on your shoulder, Aesop, and holds her sign up, or her chalkboard that reads, "Should I come?" with a question mark.
I don't think I want you near a potential nuclear explosion, but you are an adult and I respect you, so you can choose whether or not you'd like to come with us.
I agree with Aesop if it counts at all.
And Aesop is like sweating, like,
Honey, you're an independent woman and you can do whatever you want, but you've seen what those brain things can do, and there's literally a bomb involved now, so...
You should
You're
stay
fine.
here. You should stay here. This is a good thing.
please say no.
She looks at you, Fa, and wipes a chalkboard out, and you see this female-looking kinku, a little bit shorter than Aesop, kind of right with a piece of chalk on it. Do you feel up to this? She holds it out to you, Fa.
Oh.
Do I feel up to it? Yeah, I'll reply to her back in Orin and tell her that, I've seen worse. But then I'll say probably in common.
She wipes it away and writes more and holds it out to you, Aesop, and says, I am a grown woman, but you are all on a level that I and some of the other crewmates can't be. I'll stay here so that I'm safe for when you get back, she says.
Oh, praise the Raven
Exactly.
Queen. Okay.
I mean,
For when we get back.
also, if anything happens, you'd be able to maybe talk to our new potential friend and continue the cure in case anything happens to,
If something happens to me, Hush, all my research is in my room.
She wipes the chalkboard away and seems to scribble something down a little bit more radically. She says, I'll be here and safe for when you return, with
And then,
that underlined.
I put my hand on her shoulder and say, when we return.
She nods.
Exactly.
And wipes it away and looks at all of you, kind of just running across each of you. She kind of curls her head and says, good luck.
Oh, nice.
Oh, thank you.
My
Fa
poor
winks,
daughter.
Fa winks at her and says, we'll make sure we bring it back.
My poor daughter has PTSD after one adventure.
Everything will be fine. Nothing's
Kui
gonna happen.
reappears, and you hear the elevator coming to a stop, and stepping down these steps, covered in a towel and dripping wet as she comes down the stairs, is Lizzie. Fa, you see a greenish-looking, relatively well-dressed and at least what is covered of her it seems to be well-dressed in terms of her accessories, some fancy-looking jewelry on her wrists and a headband, brightish red, pinkish hair, Looks human, maybe half elfish, but again has an interesting looking, like slightly tinged green skin. What?
Oh, girl. We have
A buffet of emotion?
Oh, yes. Buffet.
Delicious emotions to suckle out of people's minds?
Oh, well, a little more literal than you may think. So, here's the thing. Our friend's brain has been sucked out of his body and is in a warehouse filled with other brains that are suspended in unending torment, a hellscape of nothing, and they're stuck inside these jars. And boy, sure would love it if you could help us find them.
Yeah. You're roboting. We got most of it. But...
Yeah.
Damn it!
That's okay. We heard you. We heard you.
We heard most of you.
Yeah. It was eloquent. Just
it's fucking Discord.
I don't see you in Roll20 anymore, but you know.
Oh, cool. Great. That's my favorite. Alright, BRB, you guys keep going.
I mean, aren't intellect devourers just brains? Hey, have you ever like feasted on one of those before?
No. Whatever you just said, I wasn't listening. I'm going to come with you. You tell me whose emotions to suck from their forms.
Oh, yes!
You can do that.
This will be a quick trip, right?
Of course!
Yes. We think.
Alright. Last time I went out with you guys, some crazy shit happened, okay? I'm not looking to have that happen again.
Well...
Short and sweet, in and out.
You must listen to us, though. If we tell you to do something, you must absolutely do it. Or
yes. Or you'll kill me or take away all of my toys. I get it.
You have toys.
Yes. All of you, she says, holding up a hand.
Don't worry, in and out, it'll be a blast.
Lots of, like, buffet. Think buffet.
Oh, I'm thinking it, honey. Let's do it.
You might want to go get dressed.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
When she leaves, Rin cast vomits.
She's not that bad.
You see her head up to the lift,
fine.
walk around the corner, and then immediately walk back around, and she's covered in this elegant-looking robe as she heads down the steps. All right, I'm all ready. How do I look?
Jeez.
Positively radiant.
Smart.
Beautiful.
Hungry and fierce.
I'm sure it's fuck hungry. But I appreciate you guys taking me out. Girls gotta eat. And if it's on your dime, so be it.
Alright.
Did we mention that there's a bunch of brains in jars that are like
I don't care. I don't care. You guys do weird shit. I'm sure it's a whole convoluted mess. You just point me to the things, I suck the emotions out.
It literally takes down the hive mind by herself. Is that all? I'm still hungry.
Who's going to be, taking her along? I have
not it.
I think it should be you.
I got it.
Oh, and beating the ladies, I love it.
I believe it.
So I'm hanging out with you now?
Yeah. I'm hanging out with you, yes.
Great.
I'm happy if that helps.
I stopped listening.
That's normal. We'll get along just fine.
All right, Quaybar says. This has been an interesting experience. I assume you will have your plans sorted and ready to go. As you mentioned, I am probably better off from a distance, and provided that things go well, there will probably be some
collateral evidence that the Meister Minds will be able to find either way. Until then, I wish you the best of luck, and I am very disappointed that we are unable to find a cure for this Kui. Again, this being a secret that stays within these walls, Meister Minds do not take kindly to finding out that they are unable to do something, technologically speaking.
Well, I mean, the truth hurts.
You're disappointed. We're disappointed.
Wow, Sun Kong harsh.
Even the best have performance issues.
Oh,
I wink.
goodness. Don't stop thinking.
Lizzie knows all about that.
What?
Nothing.
You remind me of somebody I knew in college.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, who? Who was it?
I don't think you two knew each other. Same hair, though.
Yeah.
Now she's just somebody that you used to know.
Boy.
That one
Anyways,
hurt.
I suppose it's time for me to shuffle off, whenever you're all ready, of course. Unless you would like me to take a look around this entire interior, which I would be happy to oblige.
I think that's all right. The time being, right, everyone?
Well, what if he finds something that would help us uncover? I don't know. If we allow you to look around, you're not going to report it to the Meister Minds, are you?
Of course I would. This is incredibly interesting what you have in
how
here.
about it? We're keeping a secret that you can't cure her, so why don't you keep a secret and help us kind of figure out this ship a little bit?
I could not do that.
Then no, you can't look around.
Very well.
But thank you for helping us.
Indeed.
Perhaps once you get your Kui fixed, you allow us to take a tour of the premises. Once you are in a better state of mind.
Maybe. We'll keep it in an...
It sounds fair. We'll think about it.
Yes.
I'm perplexed by the lack of curiosity you all have with this ship.
Well, it tried to kill us, so better to be not curious sometimes.
The ship tried to kill you.
There's like... It was weird. There was like aliens and weird things happening, like magic-y things. And...
Long story.
And we live here.
And this is where you sleep and take up residence with many other crew members.
Yes, in the same
Oh,
part.
yep. Every day.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps, if you would like, we are happy to provide a rental spelljammer if you would allow the Meister Minds to inspect the interior of this premises.
Stop it! No, absolutely not.
That's a bit too far.
Ew, cooties.
Rentals? Rentals? Mm-mm.
There are many puzzling questions about this place. I'm almost more entertained by the idea of what may remain deeply hidden on this ship than I am this whole syndicate affair. But anyways, my time has come to a close.
Well, thank you for your help.
Of course. Anyways, I will be on my way when you are all ready.
Oh, I'll like hold the crystal communicator out. Now you have to tap your feet to get out, but you also have to spin around 3 times.
You don't have to do that shit. You don't have to. Just touch the cube.
Oh.
It's okay. Fob will do it for you. That's why you don't have to do it. Ready, Fob?
Oh, did he get me last time?
Wait, what?
Oh, he clicked his heels for me last time?
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You guys-
I'll help. Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, is it on 3 or after 3? 3 click or 1, 2 click?
With a bright
1, 2,
flash of
click.
light, you all
Okay.
find yourselves outside of the ship, and with Lizzie in tow, as well as Quabar, you make your way back to the Meister Mind facility. Quabar bids you farewell and says he will report the information that he's gathered during his interaction with you guys to the Meister Mind committee, and heads out, taking a separate lift. You guys use your lift to head down to the
not too far down. It's only a couple levels down to the area that holds X-22's, your representatives, close to surface level laboratory.
Oh, where am I?
You know, in case he blows up.
Shift ping.
Yeah, shift pingus. If you hold shift
Pingus?
ping,
Shift Pingus. I was going to do that if you weren't.
Oh,
Memes.
Daddy, it's all black.
No.
No.
Dingus?
It's
Daddy, I
bad,
can see.
bad on so many levels. I hate it.
Daddy, I can't. Okay.
Pingus! There you go. Everyone should see. There.
Yes.
Thank you, Daddy.
Hate you, Kevin.
Oh, you return, X-22 says, seeing you guys exit the lift. So, what did you find out?
Well, we gotta get you some new eyes.
Uh-huh.
New eyes.
Yes.
Mine work perfectly fine, he says.
Well, we need to convince the creature that you are a prototype for a new security system involving eye scans or some such nonsense. Either way, you're going to help us get audience with the creature.
It's gonna raise your value.
Interesting, he says. He is currently turned at a, table with, on its surface, the glowing arcane code and symbols on it, and you see as he's turned to you, he's still wrapping a couple fingers on it, and you watch as the construct robot across the side slowly reaches out its clawed hand and just grabs his wrist and slowly moves it over to where it needs to be and lets go. New eyes, you say? This part of your plan with this vulture syndicate group?
Indeed.
Very well, I suppose. This will be one of the last times I will be able to get a construct graph in this body. It has been a good one, and I'm rather sentimental of it. But, I suppose for science, and testing out this final word, potentially, I'm very interested to see the results.
For science!
I assume, provided everything turns out well and you are able to convince the committee that the actions you are about to partake in will actually have a positive effect on the surrounding area of Neo Gokyo Prime, as well as the laboratories here at the Meister Minds itself, as a positive outcome, they will provide me with a replacement form of construct nature. Just make sure to bring my brain back once you get it.
Oh, of course.
The plan.
Wouldn't you
Absolutely.
believe in it?
Very well, very well. Oh, nice to meet you, he says. Get away from me! Get away from me, Izzy says.
Easy.
Oh, very well, very well.
Another way.
Catty.
That-
Catty.
That's Lizzie. She's really smart.
Don't tell him my name.
Oh, sorry.
Lizzie, you be nice. This is our. You be nice. He's
You
got
be
a
nice.
bomb in him.
Excuse me?
Yes, you have to be nice to him. We don't want to heighten his pulse or, excite him in any way. Okay?
Yes,
We're
I
gonna-
could blow it any minute.
We're gonna put a brain slug in his brain. Can you are you like
This
a
is why I
bloodhound?
fucking don't come out and follow you guys.
Are you like a bloodhound? Like, can you smell his emotions and then track them down when the brain is teleported elsewhere?
Ooh.
Unfortunately, I can smell his emotions. I suppose. You're saying that it's just a brain? There's no body?
Well, there won't be a brain in his body. It'll get teleported somewhere, and we'll need you to help us sniff it out. That's why we brought you along.
Oh, God. That's... I mean, I guess I could try. But I'll have to be kind of close if it's just his brain or whatever.
That's fine.
Oh,
Better
like
than
bobbing
nothing.
for apples. Yeah, that's good.
Bobbing
Cause-
for brains.
Yeah.
I don't quite get the metaphor. But
It's gotta be close.
Yeah,
Okay.
just go sniff his brain.
Yeah, dunk your head in the
I kind of get it.
jar of brains, and then that's the one you pick.
Absolutely riveting conversation, everyone. Let's.
So, yes, these enhancements. Let's get to it. You're going to fill my body with all kinds of interesting things, yes?
Eyes.
Quabar, he didn't want to stick around to see this takeover happen to my own form.
We couldn't have risked it getting him instead.
Oh, this is right. Wouldn't want the explosion to take him with it, yes.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
This is dangerous all around. Just to keep more than one Meister Mind in the room.
Yes, well, let us head down to the construct room, and I will have these enhancements made. From there, I am assuming you're going to have this takeover happen, yes?
I believe so.
Oh, very well. Let us head down, he says, getting onto the lift.
Excelsior.
Oh, I don't want to be on... Okay.
This is fine. Everything is fine.
So you guys all...
What could go wrong?
So-
Don't ever stop.
We need to pay for the augment, right?
Yeah, you guys hop on the lift and take it down to the Meister Mind Body Graph Center.
Woo.
Similar to the operation that happened on Sun Kong to give him a steel heart, you see a number of interesting looking characters shifting through here. You also see a patient or two on these steel beds. And again, you see this interesting looking insect-like creature performing what looks like pretty accurate surgery using its mantis-like appendages.
Well, okay.
X-22 heads up and basically just mentions that he's going to require some upgrades. You see two of the genius techs seemingly whisper to one another and look over at X-22, and one of them steps up. Yes, so what upgrades will we be performing on X-22?
Laser eyes.
Infrared eyes. Good lord, not laser eyes.
An easy upgrade. Because he is of genius make, he already has synthetic blood running through his body. It is much easier to apply this construct to him. This will only require an hour of your time.
Oh, fantastic. Say, if we paid a little more, could you make them look, I don't know, a little unusual, a little custom? They don't have to be functionally different. They just have to look.
I suppose we could use some unconventional construction as we apply them to the orbital cortexes of his visual centers.
Do something special to the pupils of them, maybe. Like, put, like, numbers that don't make sense in them. They're just numbers.
A little bit of flair.
Yeah.
Yes, this will involve a bit of coin as we'll need a little extra equipment, but not
Sure.
much. 50 extra for the, let's say, cosmetic augmentation.
So 500 altogether then.
Yes.
I'll put in 100. Does anyone else want to put in some?
I can put in 100 too.
I could throw in 100.
Is this where I pay for things now? Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, do you have enough and still be able to get the diamonds later? In VD?
He actually bought all the diamonds last session.
All right.
Already.
Throw in your 100 then.
Yeah, thank you for considering that, though. I hope we don't really need to use those anytime soon.
Me
Oh.
too.
You have to have a
I'll
body
just-
to make use of them, so... Yes,
That's real.
So we have 400. Sun Kong, Aesop, Blase, and
I'm poor. I'm poor.
And listen, we're not
But-
asking anything but of you right now.
But aren't you emotionally full?
Oh,
Not
my
yet.
Oh. Well, what's your favorite emotion? What's the one that tastes the best?
I'm done talking.
God. Britkaz, do you have any money?
He threw in 100.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
do
Oh.
it.
Wait, who are we missing then?
I don't have any money.
Oh yeah.
I got the extra 100.
You sure?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, even without Fa, that's 500.
yeah, it's still okay.
Yeah, Aesop, Sun, me, and Vidi, and Rink. We got 5.
Oh,
We just got paid, so it's okay.
yeah, tangential pause. When you said that Kemo was giving back stuff last week, did he give over his money bag and what kind of stuff?
Everything
just-
that was on his body.
Okay. I'll throw in the 100 then.
Well, we already have it now.
Oh, fair enough. Alright, well then, whoever
I'll give
pitched him 2 gets 100 back.
I want to give Fa. You seem sneaky, and I gave this to Kemo. So here, take this eyeball. It's a secret thing.
I'll make sure to write it down this time.
Yeah, Claire. I wrote it down in my inventory that you have it. So even
Oh,
called
you know
I have
what?
clairvoyance, and it's the right one if it matters.
that's why I didn't write it down last time, I think.
I mean, you don't have to. I have it written down.
Excellent. Well, what's the stew she'll ask, but you don't have to.
But maybe write it down so you know when to use it.
Oh, fucking
Just put right eye or something.
I. It's been clairvoyant.
I feel good about this plan. I think it's going to go just swimmingly.
Oh,
It's coming together.
I've very
Hey.
superstitious when you guys say things like that.
Set X22 on the table. I require no type of required spell scrolls to put me to sleep. No, just take my eyes.
What?
Oh, this is awesome.
Will that not be painful?
Of course, but I'm a genius. Pain is just an emotion that we all share. And the insect-like creature steps up and opens like a cloth of different instruments and steps over and makes some insect-like chirping noises and begins to surgically, but work its mantis-like blades into his eyes, and you hear X22 go, "Oh God, it hurts! It hurts!"
Oh,
Holy shit, Jason!
What's
That's
worse,
amazing.
putting him under anesthesia and him blowing up, or ripping his eyes out while he's alive and him blowing up?
Definitely him ripping his eyes.
You see his hands go limp, and you see one of the nearby genius, a very worried look come over her face, and she runs over and places a hand on his chest, and you see her breathe a sigh of relief. Continue the operation, she says, looking over at the insect-like creature. A hour's time, you guys watch as they insert these two interesting-looking, metallic-looking eyes, and you watch as they set within it a interesting-looking flicker in the centers that seem to give it a slightly off look than the typical implant would.
Perfect.
Nice.
They finish up wiping away the excess synthetic blood surrounding the cavities where they've installed the eyes on the face of X22, and use a spell scroll, rubbing it over his face, and you see a light flash from their palms, and it looks like any excess damage seems to be healed, and X22 comes slowly back to consciousness.
Sorry, just the mental image of him thrashing around with scalpels in his eyes is so funny for some reason. It hurts!
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Interesting. This is quite the upgrade. Although there's a small defect in the flicker, but I am assuming that was done on purpose.
Part of the ruse.
Oh boy, I got my information wrong apparently, but better to learn, as any good scientist knows.
Wait, there's a flicker. There's a defect. We don't want him to be defect.
A cosmetic defect.
Yeah, it's for tricking them into thinking it's not just an ordinary pair of infrared eyes.
Oh, okay. That's part of the lie then. Okay.
Yes. Part of the ruse.
All right, then. I have the implants installed. What is next?
Maybe we should complete the procedure closer to where we need to be. Might make it more plausible for our little traveler that we need to take him to see the boss.
Let's do that.
Very well.
You guys want to head out from the Meister Minds and start making your way towards the area that you guys initially went to before to meet with Phrax?
Yes.
All right.
Making our way downtown.
You guys begin to do so. Let's take her out of there. Let's see. Let me go over here real quick.
Wow. To know the words to this song.
Alright, and I'll switch maps here. You guys begin to head out having the construct graph placed. Finding yourselves out on the Neogokian streets.
Oh, what if we run into that nasty still predator again? It's not gonna eat us, right? Since we're all like working together.
I was gonna say I don't think it's really gonna be hunting us anymore.
Oh, okay.
One could hope, at least.
I mean, this is just me, but if things go south, you know, the worst happens. I can't think of a better way to, you know, go than this. I feel like
I can.
How about
I can think of 10,000 ways to go that's better than this.
Dying peacefully in your deathbed. I'd like that.
I mean, taking some of these scum with us. It's
No, because you need to go on vacation.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that I didn't think about getting the bomb implant, but
Oh, who did we lose?
Lizzie. I'm about to put her on here.
No, we lost Kyle. Oh, he's back.
I made a funny joke and nobody laughed, and I was like,
Oh no,
I
nobody.
must have disconnected because obvious.
Because obviously, yeah.
Of course, that's why no one laughed.
I said laugh, you fucks!
just play with plebs. That's all.
Alright, you guys begin heading back that way without the additional instruction of a intellect devour to lead you that way. I'm going to need some type of check from you guys to help yourselves discern a way back.
Survival?
I don't remember. This sword is kind of cool. Does anybody want it? It's got a history gem in it.
I will say if you guys do a you can do the history gem. I will also say if you guys use a survival check, you'll get advantage because of Aesop's leaving the breadcrumbs to lead to the area that you needed to go to.
Everybody's getting a 19.
It's gonna be a.
I'm gonna roll a roll 20 just for this, the history check.
I smell breadcrumbs with the 26.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't even. You guys, this happened not too long ago. You totally remember the area. You head back to the construction area where these large metallic sort of like cargo freights were located, and begin making your way through the midst of them. As you guys are making your way through the sort of metallic cargo freighters, you know that in another, 3 minutes working your way in between them, you'll reach the emptied freight that had the secret metallic sort of area that you could pull up out of the ground that led to the set of stairs that led underground to the area where you met Phrax. So at this point, if you guys are planning to have this happen, it's up to you. This takeover, this intellect devour.
All right, let's get in place out of sight. We wouldn't want anyone to create these.
Oh wait. Really quick. Do we know if we were going to fix Wreck before we did all the... Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. We wouldn't be able to... Never mind. Just trying to...
Yeah, last time we tried to take it in here, they cut it in half.
Yeah.
Could I take a perception check to see if there's no random law bots or anybody who sees us, you know, setting up poor old man to have his brain divorce?
Sure.
Assist on perception.
Whoa!
25.
With a 25, you know that this area is relatively deserted and would assume that there's probably not a lot of intentional crime happening here. This was an area that held equipment for the Meister Minds that was moved out of these freighters and is kind of just left here until they either fill them back up again or receive new shipments. With your 25 perception check, Rinkaz, it's quite a ways out, but in the darkness of the rain, just sort of looking through the scope of, let's say, your rifle, you spot the steel predator keeping an eye on you guys.
That's fine.
Sir, we don't know if this is too painful. How do we know this isn't going to ignite the thing?
Well, it won't kill him. It won't stop its heart.
Okay.
Did Kemo scream when he got taken?
Oh.
No, kind of just a slurping voice.
Okay, well...
Maybe just in case a couple people should hang back a little bit.
I was thinking, they don't know that I'm with you guys. Maybe I should keep watch from over there.
Yeah.
Yes, that's only fair. We couldn't ask you to put yourself in harm's way, at least not yet.
I just be, surprised in that.
I should probably be the closest once the devourer is taken from this casing that you have. They can detect sentience. No amount of magic can hide you from their perception unless it is good in cloaking your, consciousness.
Wait. So they can perceive magic when magic is about?
They can perceive the sentience of you yourself. Any intelligent creature. That's the way they sniff, as it were.
Okay. Alright. Well,
that's kind of like me, Lizzie says.
That's good.
So, okay. Good. I will administer the specimen, and remember, you kind of have to ham it up a little bit. It has to look involuntary if this is going to fool them. I say X-22.
Of course.
How about this? I talk to X-22, and you do this from behind his back.
Oh, yes, very good. That way we don't have to rely on X-22's, I'm sure, impeccable acting skill.
I'll take care of this. Just... X-22, face me!
Alright.
I'm not allowed to see the devourer.
Well...
No. I mean, you probably can, but we really want to make this look like...
Very well.
He turns around, turning his back to you, Aesop. Rinkaz, as you're kind of peering out with your rifle, you also see Grisdom kind of pulling off the large cannon from his back, and similar to his picture, just kind of keeping it aimed, kind of following your sight and noticing as you kind of whisper to him, just keeping an eye on the steel predator out in the distance.
Okay, everyone, danger close. If you have any death wishes, maybe get back about 100, 120 feet.
Yes, and ensure that I am the closest to the devourer.
Alright, I'm gonna wait till everyone's gone. I assume it's just me and Glace up there with X22. Unless anyone else is staying with us.
Hell no.
I got you from range.
All
So-
Couldn't you make Clatter do it?
Clatter can't speak, and they know that Clatter isn't a talker.
It's fine. I should do this. I'll take the risk.
Glace is going to start blabbing to X22 about the celebrities and all their cool fashion statements that they're making. And it's almost comparable to science because technically they're inventing all kinds of looks every day.
I start opening the bag of holding and pulling out the jar.
I
Yeah,
don't know how this could be the case, but I'll go with it, sure.
If I hold it up to the back of X22's head, and if I can unscrew it, I'll unscrew it.
You watch as you take it out. It shifts around as much as you could tell the front or face of the devourer looking towards the back of the head of X22, and you can tell that it begins to, it kind of does like a excited dog. It begins to throw its small looking clawed paws up at the glass and slowly scratching at it.
Fucking disgusting creature.
Well, you see, it's like a science because they either hate it or they love it, and that's an emotion, and that affects how they
Ugh,
react.
emotions, nasty, bad
Oh, they're
things.
So bad. Emotions are wonderful.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the creature to bust out if I can't unscrew it.
You are able to, as you work your hand up at the top, there is a steel top to the jar, and you do feel it give as you shift, turning it with your talon-like claw.
Okay, I do that.
You
Thing I do.
keep turning and sort of pointing it towards X22, like open the metal casing top, revealing the open area. You watch as the intellect devourer, using its claws, pulls itself to the edge, the tip of the glass jar, and launches itself at the back head of X22. It attaches itself, grabbing at the neck of X22. "Oh dear," he says, as the proboscis tail injects itself in the side of his head. "What is this, some kind of trick?" he says.
Glace winks at the camera that's not there.
"That's a pretty..." He falls over.
Oh, this is horrible. I hate this. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Aesop reflexively braces.
You see, moving erratically, crawling over to the front side, the face of X22, it begins to push itself up against his nostrils, and what you can only assume is some type of arcane insertion begins to shift its body actually inside of his nostril, kind of defying its size, and it slowly works its way in. The proboscis slowly wiggling around at the tail end before slowly shifting, the last bits of it disappearing inside of the nostril. There is a second or two of him moving, and then you kind of see a shifting in his form as he uses his two hands to slowly pull himself up off of the cold, wet ground from the fall of the rain and picks himself up, his eyes flittering with the embedded arcane synapses that you've installed. He looks to each of you. "We're here. Good. This is close. But why have you brought me here?"
Well, as you can see, right? Your eyes.
"Yes.
They are enhancements.
How
X20
so?"
X22 is part of a new security system. Security. Yes.
Eye scanning, and this body is a little bit more valuable than we previously thought. So, we would like to bring you, well, this form, to your leader to parley for a more acceptable price, because it seems the deal has changed.
Make a deception check.
if it's Aesop doing it, can I give him advantage?
I was gonna say, can I give him my inspiration if he doesn't want to use it? I'm down to give my inspiration.
Well, first of all, let's see if Glace can help me.
Yeah.
Are you trained in deception? Is that what you're trying to just give him advantage on the roll?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that would take the place of like an inspiration card. So, and you were providing the conversation along with him, so it makes perfect sense.
All right, here we go. Hiya!
Oh my god! Yes!
Oh!
Yes!
That is a 24 total.
Hell yeah.
You see him run his fingers up at the eyes, the metallic-looking robotic eyes, and he looks to the left and right and blinks a few times. Interesting. I have informed Hex. Bring me to him.
Very good. I touch my earpiece, and I say, the specimen has been administered. And I say that to everyone, so like,
Yeah.
so they can catch up.
Yes. I'm assuming everyone. Okay. You watch as everyone sort of comes out from behind the separate metallic freighters or cargo boxes that litter the area here. Catch up. You guys know that up ahead is the area that has the lift, and you now follow the other X-22 as he leads you through the sort of emptied steel crates that are like a room size. He leads you through them to the one that you have been to before and steps over to it, and placing his hand at the base somewhere on the steel, you see it give down a bit. There's a clicking metallic sound that you hear, and you see him run a hand at the base of the steel floor here in this particular cargo barge, and he pulls it up, and you now see the steps leading down into a well-lit area. He begins to descend down the stairs.
Luke, are you still with us?
Look at.
Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
You're not.
well...
You're not in roll 20 again.
I know. There's something wrong with my internet.
And now you're breaking up.
breaking.
Sorry.
Go ahead with that.
He'll be back. Let's see. Everyone descending down the steps?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but I want to do a perception check to see what our surroundings, like if there's anything watching us, or if there's any, like, people, I guess, like mind-controlled babies around.
Because of the very high check from Rinkaz, you know that the only onlooker, at least outside surrounding this area on the surface level, seems to be the steel predator.
Okay.
You didn't notice anyone else.
Oh,
You guys begin to head down these steps. And I will transition maps for you. You guys find yourself in a familiar hallway as you work yourselves down the steps. You watch as X-22 steps over and, using a hand at what looks to be some type of glass panel with flickering, glowing arcane symbols, he taps a few of them. The door opens and he enters.
Oh, you've changed the number already. Good idea.
You're back, Phrax says, turning to see you all. Luke, you back?
For the time being.
Okay. Luke also got replaced into a construct body. We can still hear you though. It's a little muddled, but I can still hear you.
All right.
And that one's not there.
Yes, we're back and we have brought the body. Change plans.
I'm going to give NVD control of Lizzie.
NVD.
Got it.
Say Aesop moves up here. And do you have control, Grizdom? Rinkaz? Well, you do now.
Oh shit. Yep, I do. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, Phrax says. What spurred the turn of events?
Well, he's part of a new security program, and well, his eyes have been he's been modified, and he's I explain the process that we explained to the brain baby, that he's valuable now and getting around.
More valuable.
They said there might even be a chance for more upgrades for the future.
Mm-hmm.
He's a candidate.
The perfect platform.
Interesting. This could potentially lead to be a possible candidate that could be assimilated into Hex's form. We shall bring them down with us. But first, I need to make 2 quick solutions. This will help in the assimilation process with Hex. As explained before, the andaloid nature of his form would mean that he would typically, upon assimilation of another, be a fusion between the two, a chimerical being. However, I have, through this formulation, ensured that upon assimilation of what is left of this Kemo and his form, that the new form that Hex takes will be his last. From there, even if he was to assimilate this X-22's, he would of course assimilate all of the upgrades and functions of his form, but would still retain his own.
Whoa, is there a chance that we can just get Kemo's brain returned to him and back to us?
This would be an acceptable trade after we have our run-in with Hex. I will need to make 2 solutions. 1, I will need 3 pieces of the shards from the stained Smaragda sheets.
I have 4, right, Jason? Sorry, I'm sure I sound like a robot.
No,
you
you
don't.
sound
You
good
sound
now.
good.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you have 4.
All right. Well, I don't want to cause any suspicion right now, so I'm going to hand over the 3 pieces he needs.
Very well, he says. I also have a stabilizing agent that I will have you administer yourself, he says, handing it over to X-22's body. The Intellect Devourer takes it. It's a vial that you saw in the idea that implanted itself in your mind, Aesop, when you detected the thoughts from the strand.
Right.
Him holding this vial of silverish liquid in hand. You see X-22 pop the cork and down it. He takes the 3 stained Smaragdus pieces and walks over to a set of alchemical supplies on the table in front of him. You see him turn on some of the burners and put the glass pieces in a glass jar, and you watch as they melt down. He adds some other fluids and chemicals, and you watch it bubble and fizz, smoke curling up from the glass jar. He throws in a glass straw, and you watch as it shifts through the glass straw into a smaller vial. Similar, not too dissimilar from the one that had the silver blood in it. You then see him take the glass vial and shove with a thumb a cork tight on top, and he holds it in 2 of his clawed mechanical hands' fingers, and you watch as at the wrist his hand begins to spin around rapidly and rapidly, like a medical centrifuge.
That's cool.
There's a whirring sound, and you watch as the vial spins around and around, and in about 2 or so minutes, his wrist slows down and stops. Excellent. After consuming what is left of Kemo's form, I will administer the stabilizing agent. And upon attaining his new form, we will offer him this one, he says, holding out a clawed hand at X22. Well then, shall we head down, he says.
Does it sound on the level, Jason? Is there like anything that he said that is like seems like it's deviating from the deal at all?
You can make an insight check if you'd like.
I got this.
I got it.
Wow.
Insight. No worries. I rolled a 20.
Wow.
Shit.
It's a 27.
Damn it, dude.
Galaxy
close.
Brain Sun Kong.
If there's any deviation from what little plan I mean, he essentially concocted what you guys had to come up with. So he doesn't seem to be telling you any indication of anything false from what he seems to be saying.
Okay.
Even with your 20 Sun Kong, it's almost a little difficult to tell because of just the very almost emotionless nature of the genius.
Can I, like, lean in to Lizzie? Can you tell what this mechanical man is feeling right now?
No, she says, almost a little surprised.
Okay. then.
Interesting.
Fascinating.
No, not that one. There's a little stuff coming from these things with the brain jar faces.
Oh. Can you hear them at all?
Well, no, I can't talk to them.
You can't detect thoughts.
No.
Okay.
Emotions and thoughts, they're not like the same thing.
Well, do you know what they're feeling?
Bored, I guess, if there
Huh?
was an emotion.
Interesting. That sucks. Okay, well.
Could she? This is out of character because I'm not whispering it. I guess it's meta. Never mind.
Can you tell? Is there a way you can tell them apart at all, or are they all just emotions?
I'm not getting much from them.
Oh.
I don't even know if it's boredom.
Well, we can at least tell that there's emotions coming from certain places, so that's something.
Well, then let's carry on, Phrax says. X22, or the body of X22, begins headed down the hall towards that lift at the end.
I want to look on the screen while we're walking around, see what we see. If
Yeah, maybe we can find the brain repository.
As you look, Glace, you see what look like glowing sigils of what look like sort of like the basic shape of a brain. They are all encased in a rectangular square.
Oh.
You see 25 squares, but you only see like 5 or 6 brains.
Oh. That means I guess they only have a few brains left.
There
I think
is
to myself.
there is also what looks to be maybe common in sort of glowing glyph text, but it is running by the screen very fast.
Can I don't have any cool things that could do anything for that, so can I try to see if I can like catch a word?
Sure, make a perception check.
That's gonna be 17.
With a 17, you see one word. Kemo.
Oh,
How about an unnatural 20 perception?
With a unnatural 20, you see another word. Well, we'll say 2 words. Assembly level.
assembly level.
Everyone, I saw Kemo's name on the screen. I put my earpiece.
Does that mean you know where he is?
I couldn't tell. It was too fast.
Maybe we should check the assembly level. I saw it go by. It's better than nothing.
It is indeed better than nothing.
Everyone on the lift, Phrax says.
Oh, all of us, it's gonna be a tight squeeze.
Hey, man, Daddy, you can't tell me what to do.
We'll say the lift is large enough to house all of you. You all get onto the lift and begin heading down. Flickering lights and vast darkness envelope as you head down what seem to be a couple levels. It doesn't seem that far down. Maybe a minute, though the speed or rate at which the lift is dropping, it makes you a little unsure of exactly how far you are down. The only real light other than the flickering light is a quick jolt of what looks to be electricity that flashes by occasionally, which you assume is more than likely powering the lift itself. It stops at an area that is relatively well lit, and you watch as the glass panel doors open, allowing you to see out to what looks to be just vast underground area made in steel, relatively void of any equipment or anything, like a large open area. There are a few things that you do see as you descend, or not descend, but rather step off of the lift and head out into the open.
This is triggering. Can I make an insight check or something? Are we about to get ambushed?
You can make an insight check. Tell me who you're trying to make the insight check on.
I guess the situation. Just like, so perception, I guess, more?
Investigation, maybe?
Investigation or perception? I'll take either one of those.
Perception's 1 better. +8. That's 22.
I will show you what you see around you, or explain to you what you see around you. From your perception, it seems as though both the body of X-22 as well as Phrax are getting off of the lift and have a general air of neutrality to them. There's no sort of fidgeting or anything interesting like that. In the distance, despite this space being relatively large, empty steel room, you do occasionally hear the sound of what sounds like sort of like steel equipment going off or some type of devices in the distance. You also see an interesting looking figure. There seems to be some type of what looks to be construct-like creature. It has many tiny skinny legs, probably 5 or 6 that it shifts around on these kind of stalk-like appendages. There is a central stalk of an eye on a bulbous looking head, and surrounding it, almost like petals or of a flower, or some type of pseudopod like appendages. a number of them that stretch out from its body as it shifts around. Also, you see 2 or 3 of these. At center stage, or the open center of this area, you also see a very large looking creature. You see a writhing mass that seems to be what looks like some type of fusion between organic and construct matter. I will move you over to the new map.
I'm sure it's nothing.
I think I just found out that Fa is agoraphobic. It's all this open space. Ah!
Oh, this thing is cool!
That's awesome.
Not in character.
Shifting and writhing around, besides the few robotic-looking constructs that seem to be surrounding and possibly maintaining it, is what looks like a octopod-like creature. It doesn't seem to have any discernible face other than a number of tentacle or tendril-like arms or appendages that sort of slap around the area. It seems to be drenched in what looks like slime, or almost looks like saliva, some type of coating. And it looks like a merger, as I said, between some type of actual biomass, but also mechanical components.
Oh my goodness.
It's fine. It's fine, everyone. That's out of character.
Is that Hex?
This is Hex, you hear Phrax say as he steps out from the area of the lift behind you. You see, wrapped in one of its tendril-like tentacles, sticking out what seemed to be, well, not even one. It seems to be the last bit of almost a fused white foot that seems to be slowly shifting into its mass.
What's that about?
It's finished consuming Kemo. X-22 turns around and says,
Oh, that's so sad.
Wait, consuming him? I thought we were going to get him back.
We're going to get
his brain, yes.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Now then, Phrax says as he steps up, he procures out from his formal lab coat vest the green-looking vial of the stained Schmagnus. You'll need to take this. It is a stabilizing agent that will allow you to merge correctly with this new form. He holds it out, and you see a long, slimy tendril wrap around it and quickly pull it away from his hands into the center of its shape. He steps back.
Now, we're here to bargain. We need to bargain before he finishes whatever it is that he does with these forms.
The bargaining will happen as soon as he assumes his new form. That you were so kindly able to provide the catalyst of Kemo's body for this interaction to happen.
Well, we don't have to stay here for that, right? I mean, some of us are a little uneasy with all this. Can we wait in the other room?
There is no other room.
I mean, the one that we came from. Or one of the other ones.
You wanted to bargain, correct? I'm providing the opportunity.
Is he okay? With his form, is he talking about Kemo or absorbing X-22?
Absorbing what looked to be the foot of Kemo.
Okay, so he's gonna assume a new form. He's not gonna kill X-22 right here.
It doesn't look like it. As you watch, the tendrils begin to whip around more erratically. And you watch as they begin to decrease. The interesting looking constructs begin to shift around his form more erratically. And you watch as the form slowly shifts, decreasing in size, shifting these pops of this slimy substance popping out of his form and coating the ground nearby. And there is a almost vapor that rises from the form as it begins to curl around itself, similar to how a dead spider sort of like wraps its legs all up. The pseudopods or tentacles of this creature are wrapping around itself as it decreases in its size. In its place, a small mound that shifts and whirs and turns a bit. You now see, as the vapors begin to dissipate some, standing upright on 2 feet, a humanoid form, white in nature, gaunt, but relatively well built with some muscles, naked and no genitalia, other than what look to be pieces of probably what is fused construct from its original form or whatever else it has consumed since then. It stands up. Its face is vaguely humanoid, and where its arms would be are 2 long tentacles that reach to the ground. Similar to the larger form that it had, it now still possesses this coat of this slimy substance. It stands up and looks your way.
Dang, I missed the full transformation sequence.
You didn't miss much.
Okay.
You've always got the chance to catch up on the VOD.
Yeah, buddy. There you go.
Oh, he's gross looking. Oh, I hate him.
Yeah.
So you're Hex.
You watch as he lowers his jaw and whips around one of his tendrils. Yes. There's a phlegm that shoots out of his mouth as he says this.
Let's say, like, cringes physically real.
Hex is my name. Or the name... as I needed some designation.
You watch as he whips around his arms, almost studying them.
I feel so much stronger than before. And I have you all to thank for that.
Uh-huh.
You have brought me another.
Yes, well... we hope, too, that this one will please you more, enough to give us Kemo back, but there's a reason we brought him.
It is more valuable than perhaps we realized. We'd like to bargain.
Yes.
Oh.
The information has already been shared with me through the hive mind. He boasts some type of technical augmentation that would be valuable to my new form.
Incredibly. Just imagine the depths of the Meister Minds headquarters at your metaphorical fingers.
Yes. Interesting. And in return, you want the mind of your previous friend.
Yes, that was the original deal, but now we want something more.
I'm now listening,
he says as he runs a tentacle deep into one of his newly formed ears.
Well, you have the form of X-22. You will have the form of X-22. So you have no need of his brain, yes? He is very valuable to us, his brain. We would see him continue his research, perhaps in a new form.
After what he has seen in terms of you taking over his mind, why would he still be your ally?
Oh, it was fast. He didn't see it coming, first of all.
Truth be told, he didn't see me administer it.
This is true, X-22's body says. I was able to subjugate his form without his awareness.
It was deception.
I need you to make... I'll take either a persuasion or a deception check, Aesop.
Deception, and I'm going to use my inspiration.
Alright.
Yep! Oh, yes! Woo!
Okay.
22.
At 22.
Appropriate.
Yes, kill.
What story dice get asked for?
Very well, he says. In the meantime, I shall begin assimilation of this one,
He says, wrapping a tentacle shooting out from his arm around X-22's body and beginning to pull it to his own.
You wait on that. We had a deal. We want the brains first.
You've got
You
everything so
will
far.
get the brains back up top through Phrax,
He says, running a whipped hand over to him as he continues wrapping the other around the body of
No.
X-22.
Wait a minute. We need to make sure.
Fa would do something. She's wants brains before body.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
What was the option to just charge into a body to push him? That was an extra action thing.
It's athletics. You're just talking about like shove, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to shove the body away.
Can I help him? Give him advantage? I'm trained in athletics.
I would say that you moving forward towards Hex, who has pulled close to him, having contact with X-22's body, you can run with him towards. So I'll just provide a quick image here. They're not immediately at in front of you. There's probably like a 15-foot gap. So it would take you kind of like quickly running towards them for a quick second or two. So he.
Kong's infinitely faster than I am.
I was gonna say, don't take me a second.
So, Fa and Sun Kong, do you both want to attempt this?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Fa would definitely.
Alright, are you trying to do the same, Sun Kong?
Yeah, I would try to either push him or grab him, just to keep him from being taken.
Yeah, I also have another idea if this doesn't work.
So you guys watch, seeing that X-22 has been pulled close. You're unsure of how long a merger or assimilation happens. But the tendril is wrapped around X-22's body and he has been pulled into contact with the slimy form of the newly formed Hex. And seeing this, both Sun Kong and Fa immediately begin rushing forward. I will need you guys to make a dexterity or an acrobatics check as trying to dive in your way as one of these construct creatures.
Can I give Fa my inspiration?
Sure.
Okay. You said it can be a dex save?
This is a acrobatics check, actually.
Okay. +3.
To kind of dodge out of the way as one of these creatures.
I'm gonna
run.
use mine as well.
Alright.
Well, that's still 29.
Nice.
Oh shit!
What about
Yeah.
yours, Fa?
29 acrobatics, yeah.
What was Fa?
16.
16? Okay. Fa, you are knocked aside by one of the construct-like creatures. However, Sung Kong, you are able to do a quick front flip over it and continue heading towards the body of X-22. Give me is there like a 5e bull rush or something? Let's see.
I think it's
Just
just
like a-
athletics.
Athletics check.
Yeah.
Opposed check, I'm assuming.
Yeah, contest.
Okay. Athletics, you said?
Yeah.
Ooh, guys, we almost blew up.
Well, we don't know how long.
21.
Get off of me, you robot piece of shit!
Hang on just a second.
Let's just fill in the dead air.
That's what your smiling face is for.
Ooh.
Kemo is still awake.
You dive bomb into X-22, wrenching him free from Hex's form and grip, knocking his body to the ground.
Give us the hearts and you can have the body.
Brains. Now, everyone. You used to be a Modron, didn't you? You believe in order. We may all be affiliated with you one day, but for now, we are business partners conducting a deal.
We had a deal.
You can have. We don't want to stop you from having the body. You can have the body. Just give us the hearts. Brains.
Brains, son.
Brains.
2
brains, no hearts.
I used to be a working Modron in order, following in line with the others. That is no longer the case.
So what are you now?
I am a rogue Modron, and I have instated a new deal. You will have the brain of this Kemo, and also of your X-22. And in return, he says as he throws out 2 tentacles towards X-22 and you, Sung Kong, I will take both of these 2.
Now,
We're fighting now.
Did I do a check before regarding turning like polymorph Modron at all? Can I do a quick check on that before I try it?
Knowledge checks are free.
I would like to do that. I guess a nature check?
Use your inspiration.
No, because I'm gonna use that for my polymorph if I can do it.
Very true.
So let's do a check. Okay, of course. But that's totally gonna be a 6.
You have no idea.
I try it.
Unfortunately.
I try it. So that's gonna be. Sorry, I'm looking for polymorph. I'm sorry, guys. Polymorph.
D&D Beyond, guys.
I'm on it. Okay, here we go. Polymorph. The spell transforms a creature that I can see into a new form. An unwilling creature must make a wisdom saving throw to avoid the effect. It's got no effect on shape changer or creature with 0 hit points. So, it's a wisdom save 17, but I'm gonna use this inspiration card that's gonna make it an 18.
Nice.
Alright. And if he fails, what is he going to be transformed into?
Oh, you know, the bad boy. The bad boy. The dust bunny.
Big old dust bunny.
Yep. Oh my god! What's his total?
You watch as he stares over your way, and his body begins to slowly shift his bones shifting a bit and whatever construct pieces on his body shifting just a bit. And you watch as they all snap immediately back into place.
Okay.
Phrax looks at you and says, "The stabilizing agent has rendered that ineffective." Sun Kong, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as a pseudopod-like tentacle stretches out towards you.
Nice.
22.
Let me see here just a second. We'll do a public roll. No, that's just DC. Let me check real quick. 22?
Yeah.
Yep.
You quickly kick up into the air as the tendril slaps across the ground in front of you. A streak of nasty-looking, clear-coated slime hitting the floor as it quickly pulls back, and you land on both of your feet.
Nice.
I don't think so.
With that, as we end this session, I would just like for everybody to roll initiative.
Aww. I'm glad I rolled that one now, though.
Let's double check here for this boy.
Oh my god.
Luke, if you're there, roll initiative. Okay.
Oh,
We're wrapping up. We're just rolling for initiative.
22.
Oh, not bad. Let's check for this guy.
What happened? Last I heard was trying to cast polymorph.
It failed.
It failed. It tried to grab me. I succeeded my deck save, and this is where we are.
Did it save against it? Did it just not work?
Yeah.
It just the potion it took, whatever it took upstairs, the settling potion, whatever the fuck it was called, stopped it.
Despite the unnerving effect of what looks to be the polymorph spell being rendered ineffective, Aesop, you do watch as something that would transform its body from taking the stained smaragdus stabilizing agent has rendered it unable to be shifted out of its form. This, in a very weird way, brings you some sense of satisfaction that perhaps Phrax actually has the cure.
That is nice.
And with that, let me just see here real quick for these other guys. I'll roll it later. And let's do everybody in turn order descending. I'll add in those babies later. It will be Glace, Rinkaz, and Vidi, and then him. So, with that... Oh, 7 from Sun Kong. Oh, shit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Luke never got to roll.
I
22?
rolled, it showed up on mine. I put in my initiative, and it's I can't see anybody else.
Oh.
It loaded in. It just took away.
It's 22, though.
So then Aesop, Rinkaz, Glace, and Vidi. Most of you, and then him. Next session, knowledge checks will be free.
As opposed to usual.
Please.
I try. I do try my best.
It was
No, we
very
all
good
do.
of you. It was very. You guys did a great job this session. It was very good.
We got pretty far before the fight started. I'm personally impressed too.
Some very advantageous high rolls and some very needed crit rolls. You guys did really good to get up to this point without combat. I'm impressed. I hope you all had fun despite the internet doing its best to fuck us over. And we'll swing back around next week where I'm sure Luke will have a better connection, and we'll be in full force.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Everything's gonna be fine.
Everything's gonna be fine. I just want to pull up this and just thank everybody who kind of hung out and watched with us. Thank you, Angel of Light. Thank you, Cornet to Crunch, or Corn Edo Crunch. I don't know. Thank you, Electrical Onboard, Lurks Polize, and Virgo Praz. Thank you very much for watching and listening. You guys are building up points as you watch and follow, and if you sub, you get extra points, a shitload of points actually, that you can use to buy cool little characters that you see at the bottom of the screen, or fun stuff like extra inspiration for the party. For me, if you want to give it to me, you could also buy fun stuff like Wyrd bit points for the party, or Wyrd bits rather, that they could use to exchange for money or just use it to build stuff on their ship and other stuff. You can take a look at that on the details on our Twitch page. If you miss any of this episode and for some reason want to check out more of this show, you can check us out on our VODs on Twitch, or you can head over to our YouTube page. It's just GAWD_mode, or you can type in Wyrd and Wyld. We should eventually pop up on that search list. And yeah, follow us if you liked it. And we'll be back next week for more, and we'll see how things end up. But thank you, everybody. I hope you guys had fun. We'll be back here next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.